there's a thing that goes along with doing that mindfully and encouragingly. There's an energetic thing that goes along
No,
with a group of people
mm-mm,
that are that.
they're,
Oh, I'm what?
I find I find a lot of times it's just for the sake of embarrassing each other. It's not to make each other better. It's just who can we humble?
Yeah,
I
Somebody
don't.
has to be at the bottom.
yeah.
Mm,
But when I talk to you about it, I'm always gonna code it with that in order to make it okay to justify it. And then when you disagree, it's well, you're not a man, so you don't know what it's like.
mm.
Yeah, free. I'm not sure, but it's also a very telling thing to see this is that the men have been here. Like I've seen several of them pop in and they see this prompt and they scroll on. But I guarantee you, they are somewhere harassing a woman right now in
Right.
their conversations.
Going into some space saying, "What about men's mental health?"
I'm like, listen, man, it's right here asking to talk to you, and you refuse. That's the thing is they don't actually want to have a man's space. You just want the right to invade a woman's space.
No, they're not going into spaces that say, "What about men's mental health?" They
No, I'm
will go
saying
into
they're
spaces.
saying that as a what about when they walk into women-centered spaces, they try to what about with a what about men kind of shit. Is my point. We're right here,
Right,
right now.
right,
We're
right.
there doing that.
Now, if Jeremy had a space where it was like, "Why aren't women talking about men's mental health?" That would get them.
Oh, I guarantee you, I am going to um either myself or I'm gonna ask Reaper to make a background that says that. I'm gonna use this as a social experiment and see how many of them show up and how fast they show up.
Well, let me know when you do. I will support. You know, I'm not above that.
True, true. So, um,
Just make
I'll
sure it's
also
not on
say,
one of my man hating days.
gotta put one hat down and pick up the other.
You know.
I'll
Hey,
also say,
Bob.
I don't know if I can point to, and please do correct me if someone here sees an example of this that I have missed. But all of those men groups that rib each other or joke with each other, um, where are the good ones of those?
They're
Oh,
there. They're just not
Because if
seen.
it works,
I could not tell you.
right?
But
So
look,
that I don't think that
hold
any of that
on.
shit works.
Wait. I need to give him his 304 flowers because I did invite Bob, and like a good 304, he did show up. Hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Taco Bob.
Like a good 3 or 4, Taco Bob is there.
Oh my God. Stop messing with Taco Bob. He said, wow, I'm doing good. How are you? Oh my God. Hey, can you share this live out, Taco Bob, to some guys? Jeez. They should be jumping at the chance to talk about what a panderer is and what pandering is. Because they do it unprovoked without anyone asking.
Right.
Right? So why not? Now you have the floor to actually tell us all about the wonders of pandering and what a panderer is, and nobody has anything to say.
Maybe I should just go into pander mode.
Oh,
Oh.
that might help.
Mm, mm,
Maybe
mm.
we should have like a fake little argument, and then you come in and save the day, Jeremy.
Like hold up, like let me excuse me
And
while I get into pander mode.
and I'm gonna say honestly, I'm gonna need y'all to do a better job of pandering to me, because I need your pandering to involve like sending me for spa days,
Ooh.
sending me
Ooh.
on like, you know, I'm willing to accept even like 3-day weekends in Jamaica, you
Oh,
know,
Mm.
wow.
or
How
Puerto
gracious.
Rico.
Yes.
I know. Am
How
I not
magnanimous.
magnanimous? I'm glad.
Oh,
Let's I like that. Yes.
yes, I am great. Yes. This is
You know what I'm saying? Um, there
the
are
greatest
things that
ever.
you all could be doing if you truly want to pander to me. And yet, you just want to talk about supporting me as a black woman?
It's giving simp energy.
Seriously.
Very much simpish.
Oh, you said Sim. Now I need to come up
I
and tell you something because don't nobody call me that.
wait. For
Oh,
for the
tell me
record,
I'm right.
hold on.
Don't prove me right, please.
You know,
Hey, Lex Luthor.
wait, hold on. I had to go and pay for these by myself yesterday. You know?
Mm.
Oh,
What is going
shame.
on?
For
What is
shame.
what is going on? That
What
should
is
never
going on?
happen.
Where's the panderers at? What's going on? She had to pay for her own nails.
See, and this is what's wrong with us right here. See, if we was the true protectors and providers that we say that we are, then we would be out here paying for all these women's nails. They would never
Mm-hmm.
have to pay in a nail salon if we was actually trying to be the protectors and providers because we provide all of these things for them, right? I don't
I
understand
actually
Talk about it,
why it's,
King.
That's right.
I don't understand why we out here not paying for this stuff when that's literally our job and our responsibility as a man.
Mm.
Why are you not spending all your money on these queens?
Mm.
I
Exactly.
mean, I, I
What's wrong
am
with these
I
men? Why are they paying
I'm
for everything? Pay for everything.
I am disgusted to say that on Monday night I actually paid for some drinks and an app by myself.
Oh no.
You gotta be kidding me. See, see, the only time that one of these queens should ever have to pay for something is when it's free. And then they still not paying for it because it's free. We should be out here buying all the drinks for them. We should be out here feeding them while we at it. Get them some food to eat and get them get them to go plate. No, Cam, this ain't no
That's
parody.
No, that
I
to
want
go
to have a
place.
conversation because we not doing our job. I want to have the conversation.
I mean, if y'all are gonna say that you protect and you provide, right?
Tell them, my
Where's
brother.
the
Tell them.
provision? Where's the provision?
Big Cam, you here to have the conversation, my brother? Because we not doing what we supposed to do as men folk.
I mean, Cam, you are one of the first to jump up in a whole bunch of lives talking about how men are there to protect and provide. Come up. Come on up. Or is it that you'll only come up when you feel like you have the protection of yellow?
I thought that Yellow blocked him.
Oh,
Is
he
he
now
still her
unprotected?
roach?
I don't
Hmm.
know.
No,
I,
I think she sprayed the raid and had some pest control,
ooh,
and that's why he's other places now.
I mean, he didn't stay here. Like we need to be, we need to be having a conversation. He didn't stay. He decided to leave.
Why you leave? Let me try to do something. Hold up. I thought I blocked him. I know I got him blocked on my main page. Oh yeah, he gone. I can't invite him.
Oh, he's been blocked by me for so long.
Look like he came back. The name popped up. Look like he came back. I'm like, listen, is we having the conversation, Big Cam?
Yeah, because he love to talk about pandering too and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where y'all at when y'all got the chance to speak on this? We giving you the floor. But that's what they don't want the floor. They want to take it. They want to just come in unprovoked and then start just calling you a panderer and feminine and telling you that you one of the girls.
It's always motherfuckers with no skin routine that got most shit to say about people. It's kind of wild.
We were talking about that earlier too. You're so right.
Like,
We sure was. We were, y'all.
listen, the most hate I've had motherfuckers in my comment section and DMs is come from dudes who look like they just like you could peel the layers back. Like you seen like the new trailer for Predator Badlands? They got that motherfucking skin. Like like you got calluses on your eyelids, my boy. Like I can't take you serious.
Sir.
I was waiting. Just what that was cooking for a second. Go.
Sir. Exactly, boss lady. Jesus Christ. I'm about to get a soundboard and I'm gonna add that to it.
Yeah, listen.
Jesus Christ.
Listen. I keep telling people. After a while, like I've been doing this shit for like what 5 years now. You know the type of dude who's saying the shit. You know the type of dude. Like I don't have to look at him majority of the time to know who's saying it. Depending on what words they use, I give you a full body description of a motherfucker.
Now, question: does he have to have an anime background?
Ooh, the anime backgrounds are always a tricky one. The anime backgrounds are always a tricky one. You know what I mean? Because like depending on the anime background might describe what kind of diabolical shit they using, right? Like if it's Jiraiya from Naruto, or for some weird reason Nightwing from Batman, just safely assume it's about to be some of the most wildest homophobic shit every time. Is weirdly homophobic and very just anti-woman. But like it always leans heavy into homophobic.
I agree. I've seen it. As a woman who dated a blur who was heavy in the anime, he heavily homophobic.
Wait, how is that
Everything
even
is GAY.
possible?
Everything is GAY.
No, but that's
I'm just
not
like,
possible because don't you know? Black girls don't like guys who watch anime. I mean, that's what they keep telling us.
oh, you're right. I know. I'm lying, everybody. I'm lying.
Yeah, that shit's code for they don't like
I'm
dudes who
lying.
don't wash their ass.
Yes.
No one likes
I'm
fresh
trying to tell you,
from
I've
London
seen this
cheese
a
and now
lot.
they
You're
boys
on to
upset.
something, Taco Bob. You're on to something. Whoa, we got somebody. Lex Luthor.
Indeed.
Yeah, Goku. That's so true. If they have Goku, a lot of times, yes, they are homophobic. Oh my God, it's so true. Every dude that loves Goku, they're like so not okay.
Yeah, because
Not
Goku's
everyone,
not
but a
okay.
good portion.
That's why.
You just gave me flashbacks. I'm triggered now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I still can't believe you dated a guy who was into anime or a black guy who was into anime because from what I've heard, what they keep telling me is no black girl likes the guys who watch anime.
They were
Can't believe it.
they were forever mistaken. It's so many of them out here, and they got themselves a anime loving black woman. And I'm not an
They
anime
keep
head,
telling me
but I do
keep
like
telling
anime.
me They keep telling me that no girls like
I
them.
don't know.
So
I know.
I'm here.
They do, don't they?
hold on real quick.
And guess what, y'all? He's not 6 feet.
1 second. 1 second. Lex.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Lex, say something real quick.
Can you hear me?
Okay, chat. Can y'all hear Lex?
Yes, I can. Oh, chat.
We hear.
Can the chat hear Lex?
Okay.
I'm here. I'm listening. I got invited up. I'll never just jump in and just start running my mouth. I listen and see what the vibe is, and I'm me. I don't, right. And based upon where I'm at, I'm gonna be honest. I don't rock, some things that I may agree with the women, some things I may agree with the men, but I mostly speak to men because we got to work on us. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big proponent of, I'm listening to men, and the first thing when they do say stuff is, but the women. No, bro, I'm not doing that. I need you to work on you first. So, to the statements that's being said or brought up, it doesn't apply. Y'all do make valid points. The whole anime thing, that's not my lane, so I can't speak to that.
Wait, are you saying that you demand accountability from other men?
Absolutely.
We were just kind of having fun with the animal thing. Don't worry, that's not the combo.
So just just to get us on track, the whole thing around this conversation is essentially these questions that I'm posing to the men, because I'm hearing, especially because this gentleman has been going viral with some clips from his podcast. And a lot of men essentially were like, oh, well, he's just pandering. He's nothing but a panderer. And I'm recognizing how often this word is thrown around to just attach to every little thing. In a lot of cases, people are using it wrong. So that's really what I'm intending to speak to, is like, what is it that what actually is pandering versus, what it's being used as. And why do we have so many men thinking that this is happening?
Well, to the pandering statement, I think in a space when it comes to men, it's just not being genuine, looking for a response or looking for an acceptance that if they go against the grain, they're not going to stand on their own two feet or disagree. Or even if they do disagree, they can't support their stance.
So essentially what you're saying is that the pandering is just a tool to avoid that accountability.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So to my last question, what are the things that should be highlighted primarily when we're having these conversations with each other that don't include women?
Well, I would say first and foremost, men, before we start talking about women all the time, and I say this all the time to men, learn to be alone without being lonely. Because if you can be on your own, be self-sufficient, then your complaint about what somebody else is doing shouldn't apply to you. Because if you get into a situation and that person isn't, then you have an option just to leave them alone. Then for me, I can't hear this constant complaint. I'm not happy because of something somebody else is doing. If you're happy on your own, then it's nobody else's responsibility. It's just they can't disrupt your happiness. Just choose to leave them alone. And that's the conversation amongst men we should start having. Are you moving self-sufficiently as a man first? Are you being accountable and responsible for your choices? For me, defined as a man is being responsible for your choices. Whether you right or wrong, it's on you. So in spaces where, let's say you were irresponsible with your seed, but she's doing this and this and this. You chose to be in that situation, homie. Like, you're missing me with the whole, but what's she doing? That's the conversation we need to have amongst each other. They'll say, but she won't let me get my kids, and we won't do this, and you hear these men in the group saying that. All right, but you chose to lay in that situation. Now afterwards, you got a child. Be responsible. And I try to talk to me about this, but I can't see my kid. Well, did you research what's going on so you can see a kid? Do you really want to get them, or are you looking for an excuse to complain about it? And I've been called in those conversations. Oh man, you just pandering this and this and this. You're a simp. You shouldn't have. What, bro? You had a kid in a bad situation by your opinion. You're saying it was a bad person. First of all, that's on you. Secondly, and this is a lot of things that men don't want to hear. If it's so terrible over there for your child, go get your kid. We don't want to do that. We'll talk about how she should parent, you not being the parent. Like, this is a conversation we not even women in the room, just men having with each other.
True. Real quick, Lex, because boss lady's telling me that it's like that you're in some weird limbo between, like, they can hear you but they can't see you. So if you want to stay in the conversation, she's gonna go ahead and just drop you out of the panel. You can request back up. We'll bring you right back. But just to make sure that you're like fully in here.
Gotcha.
I see him.
Like the idea of I kind of like the idea of him. I kind of like the idea of him being kind of ethereal.
Because he's already dropped now.
Alright. My fault.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what's going on there? He's there. Wait. Oh no, she said she's seen him. Dang it. Come back. She's seen him. Dang it. Come back. Lex. Okay, he's back up. Okay, I see. What happened to the other guy? Did he accidentally come up here?
No idea.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me now, or am I still lagging?
We hear you.
Okay.
I was kind of digging the idea of you being just kind of like that ethereal voice of God. No one can see you, just the voice.
Just the voice.
No.
Lazarus.
But to your point, like I said, what you say in a group full of what you think is going to be accepted, because that's the movement, and you made a great point. All right, you ain't got nobody to applaud you. It's not going to be the popular thing. When you with that group of men, are you really saying that? Another big thing is, and this is me being transparent, I had to learn to get in this space. I wasn't a good dude. So I can relate to say, yo, that's not cool. And they're like, oh, you wouldn't. Yeah, I know, because I used to move that way. It's not good. And I suffered the consequences, having to have the hard conversations when I wasn't being responsible or accountable as a man. And we're not even talking about money, because that wasn't an issue with me. I wasn't consistent. I wasn't present. And I had to have that conversation with my children, especially my daughters. Hey, Dad, you would pay for stuff, but you wouldn't show up. Because some misconception with men is when we hear provision, the first thing we do, or the first thing we push back on, is money. And it's so much more than that. And I've gotten into, like I said, heated conversations with men. Oh man, that's not a man's job. How you see that? That really misses me. Like, how you see that's if you brought somebody here, or if you saying your partner, because I'm big on partnership, partner with somebody, why do you think roles in the household is not your job?
I've thought a lot about that too, because I completely agree with it. But to add on, also, what if backup is necessary? Like this idea that people I don't know how to do things. That's not my job. Like, whether you think it's yours or not, isn't it a power move to learn how to do at least the bare minimum of almost everything so that you can support or be there if you need to, or if you're pressed, you have the competency and the ability. Instead of this, I don't know how to wash dishes or make a sandwich. Like what?
Yeah, and that goes right back to the being whole as a man before you come into a situation. Because what did you do before she came along? And this is the big thing I get hit with all your pain and stuff like that. Personally, I think every man should be present. Now I got to do it with children, but what really is like you watching what a woman goes through to bring this child into this world. You can't, men can't go through the first 5 minutes of it. Nope. Don't want no parts of it. Even I was in agony just watching it. After that child's here, you should be 100%. Let me give you off and give you peace as much as possible. Just watching what you went through for those hours. Because I went into it thinking it was like on TV and, it happens real quick, 42 minutes, 13 hours. I was humbled. So, and then I got put in a position again, being irresponsible. When my first child, I was reckless. My oldest daughter, mom was like, "Nah, I ain't doing it." Gave it to me. So I had to learn to braid hair and I had to do all that on me. So when I hear these men talking about, if you do these things, you're pandering and stuff like that, I just think you're looking for an excuse not to be accountable.
Also, for what better reason can you offer me than fear that you don't know how to cope with all of your feelings? And you just go straight to anger all the time or talk about how feelings aren't important and why. Like, you're going to tell me you're strong, but you can't handle. That doesn't make sense. Like, emotional intelligence is a thing. And go study some, go level up. I don't know where that became a hard thing to understand. Like you progress and you grow. And if you don't challenge yourself, life will challenge you. Neither way, like it's not about you. There's so much of this egocentric, like, everybody wants to be Superman or Batman and think they're the one, they're Neo or the Uber. There's so much of that. And it's like, yeah, are we all gonna be that way? No, but I'm extra special. It's like, yeah. Anyway, sorry to derail.
Yeah, it's wild out here, but again, like I said, the conversations I'm having and, a lot of times when I come on, I don't jump up. I listen, especially when and it's in a space that I'm hearing women, and instead of taking offense, if it don't apply to you, okay. But what women are actually doing, and this is my opinion, is giving information on how we can be better. They're actually saying, hey, you could be better here. You could be better here. Now, the delivery may be passionate. They may be frustrated, which is warranted in those spaces. But they're actually giving you information how to be better. Instead of deflecting or saying something to a man or even just saying something that you think accepted, just listen and apply it where you can be better. It's not a problem. To me, I take it as a challenge. It's an opportunity for me to be better. Some of the things are directly to me, and I use it to be better. Some of the things I take it to my men's group. You know what? In the household, things are your responsibility as well. And that's even, and I really push back on this, well, I pay everything. I shouldn't have to take care of the home. If she wasn't there, you still had to do it. So you have a partner now that should be making things easy for both sides. A woman said to me, and it hit me like a ton of bricks, and it said, she said 3-1. And I said, what do you mean? She said, anything you do outside the house, you should be doing threefold inside the house. It was like, hit me. Didn't argue with her, didn't could tell about why I pay this and pay that. Nope. She said, that was, because I said, what is something that you could say as expected? She said 3-1. Whatever you do, activities out the house, whatever it is, it should be threefold more inside the house. Automatically applied it. I would say more importantly, if you are to a point where you're in partnership or a marriage relationship with a woman, you should also remember before she was your girl, before she was somebody's mom, even before she's somebody's daughter, she's a person. So she should come to you and say, you know what, I just don't want to do this. And y'all should work out how y'all can stay connected instead of pulling this thing about gender roles and finances. That's your partner. Her say so means just as much as what you think you control.
Absolutely. Real quick. So I see some new people coming on into the panel or into the room. Fellas, this is a conversation for us right now. I've allowed some of the ladies to come up to kind of chime in on their perspectives and things when it comes to this topic for the time being. But this is a conversation for us. So I'm particularly asking y'all to request up to have this conversation with us, because we are the ones who are constantly throwing this word around. We are the ones who seems to have had a problem with this gentleman that is pictured in my background when it comes to the things he's been saying on his podcast. We're the ones that are having that discussion. So I think it's imperative that we're talking about this, what it is that he's doing, why do we have a problem with it, what are we expecting instead, all of those things. These are the kind of conversations. So I see y'all in the room. Hit that request button. If I gotta make space for more men to come up, I will kindly ask the ladies to go ahead and head back to the comments. So this is a conversation for us. And y'all, every single time y'all demand to be heard, this is your chance to be heard. Take advantage of it.
If you need, I can always hate from the comments. Don't worry.
This is
Hey, Jay.
Oh man. So yeah, like I said, fellas, it's your time to be heard.
I know Jay had stuff to say on the subject.
Yeah, I saw one of Jay's recent videos about this, which is why when I made the announcement, I of course included him in that. What's going on, brother?
Good brother. What's going on, man?
All is well.
Good, good, good. Whole lot of pandering talk lately, huh?
Most definitely.
We
Like we say it so often. Like, let's its meaning. Let's make it make sense.
you know what? What happens to me often on these panels that I am fortunate to participate in is every once in a while I get a brother either in the comments or, you know what? Before I go further, they never say that to me while they're on the panel, by the way. That's interesting. They would call me that from the comments, but would never say it to the panel. Or when they come up to the panel, they kind of, they step lightly. It's like, I'm not even that kind of guy. Why y'all, why y'all freeze up like that? Nevertheless, what happens very often is when they hit me with it or I see them mentioning, I ask them a very, very specific question. Can you define that for me? I asked them to define pandering or simp, whichever one they use, and they could never give me the answer. And I tell them there's two parts to what's happening here. One, if you give me an answer, you then have to recognize and understand that someone else may have a different definition than you do on that. One, because we know the etymology of words, where it comes from, where it starts, how it began to be accepted, and further on in the future acknowledging that it may change again, but at the present moment, you're going to find a bunch of definitions then. And I'm going to give you examples and you're going to say, no, that's pandering, or no, that's not pandering, et cetera, et cetera. But you can never give me a clear, concise one. And when I give them one, for example, I say that pandering, the definition I've been able to get anyway, is the act of catering to or indulging in someone's desires, opinions, or prejudice in an excessive or insincere way, often for personal gain. And when I tell them that, I ask them, what is it that I'm saying right now that you feel is insincere, that you feel is like excessive? Or what do you think I'm attempting to gain in this moment? The part of the trap of me asking that question is when you answer, I'm going to tell you the reason why you believe these things about me, the stranger in whom you don't know, is because you're projecting. And we can have that conversation, but you have to be willing to be honest to have that conversation. And oftentimes they never are. So the other one, by the way, even though it's not mentioned up here, the simp one, I think that one is funny. I asked them for that, and I already have the definition ready for them on that one too, because it is someone, typically a man, who is seen as overly submissive, attentive, or desperate for someone's affection, often to the point of compromising their own self-respect. Now, there's some things here, because when we talk about things like self-respect or whatever, we have to understand that self-respect is individual to the individual in whom they deem as respect for themselves. I can't tell you what self-respect looks like for you, but a little bit deeper. On the other side of that, y'all are calling men simps because they are kind to the women in whom they are in relationships or marriages with. Y'all are calling men simps who are kind or speak in a certain way to women in whom they don't know because they're not, I don't know, married men on the internet yelling at single women. We have butchered and bastardized these words to the point to where when I give you the accurate definition, you say, nah, that's not it. Because you've consumed so much of the toxic content to help out your own personality that if I give you the definition and it goes that much against what you believe you to know about yourself, it is a threat. And that, gentlemen, is the problem.
So, I I think that essentially that is in a nutshell the whole concept of what's actually happening, and you can easily connect that with what Lex was saying earlier, and it really is just this major avoidance of true accountability because to them, and that's the part that scares them, because I've said this multiple times. Some mutuals here have said this multiple times, and I heard this brother even mention something to that degree where a lot of times when they say accountability, what they mean is punishment. So if you were to flip that, and then I'm now, facing down accountability, that's scary because I know what my concept of accountability looks like, and it's something I would never want for myself.
There's also a really blurry line between the concept of like ownership and possessiveness, right? Like you don't own a person. You've chosen to undertake the responsibility of coexisting or cohabitating or partnering up, whatever it is. There's no ownership. So a lot of this their mind stuff has gotten so far down the rabbit hole that it just bothers me, right? Even my kids, while I acknowledge there's no other way for me to say that, then that's my son. It's more an acknowledgement of my responsibility. That's my way of saying I'm his father. But a lot of people don't realize that subtle distinction and have gotten so far. And when they say something like "that's my son," they think they're entitled to rights over their children's life choices. Pretty sure you didn't believe your parents were entitled to their opinions on your life choices. Like, how many generations we got to keep doing this stupid shit?
You
But
know,
it's this insecure shit. Go ahead, Lex. Sorry.
it's this. You hear all this. I'm so frustrated with hearing. Men should be the leaders. But I think that's not what they think the word leadership is, because the part of leadership is first and foremost responsibility. You're part of the process, meaning you're willing to do the work as anybody else. I think what they really mean is they want to be dictators.
That's it, right? That's it.
You hear, oh, I'm a leader. No, you want to be a dictator. And what you're really asking for is an employee, which you have the option to sleep with, which you're really probably not even paying that well for anyway.
No, that is a true statement. It's terrifying, in a sense that these are people who are still in a position to, use some of the tools of the patriarchy to actually impact and affect others. That they are still contributing to decision making. They're still able to vote, and they will use that to vote against the interests of the people they claim to care about. So it's a major thing, and the fact that there are so few. I should say it like this: there are so many men who are willing to just kind of fall in line, like it, to be so quick to fall in line. It's like you will accuse someone of pandering if they don't necessarily agree with the men in the room, while simultaneously pandering to the men in the room.
Super facts on that one. I see that a lot. And can we talk about this whole thing? I hear this all the time about submission. Now, that's not something I've ever had to ask for, but it's saying as a married man, if that was a conversation, I would start by being submissive so she sees what that looks like before I talk about you should have to follow me.
Can I push back on that for a second? Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Dex? By all means.
Yeah. While we're talking about these things, we can't be doing the same things that, like, the men we're complaining about. Talking about submission in that way is one of those things. And have submission, you don't willingly, is you have to be forced to submit, right? We can't misuse words. We are talking about the ignorance of men, the stupidity of men, right? Because large groups of stupid people have always been the most harmful throughout society. And that is what patriarchy has done to us. It made us confidently stupid. So you can't submit. You can't be submissive first to your woman. That doesn't make sense. That's the opposite of what submission is. And that's the mind games and the manipulation and the gaslighting that men have always used in order to oppress women. So if you are doing the same thing while we're trying to deconstruct, you're actually not deconstructing, you're actually helping it go on by using the same language. That's why we have to deconstruct all these things. So you can't submit It has no conversation you could have with the woman you love and have submission in it. It can't happen. You know what I mean? It can't happen.
It calls to mind for me, like the idea of if you're teaming up with someone, you're partnering up with someone, you're joining or uniting with someone. Use a simple metaphor. What about doubles tennis, right? Whichever one is serving, is the other one submissive in that team, or are they just allowing one to serve and take the lead and they keep moving that around? They agree that as teammates, as collaborators, one might have to take the lead and the other one will follow. But exactly, what's the word submission doing there at all?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
no one's dominating in doubles either.
right. But well, the thing is, it's tasks that has to be done, and someone just doing the task that they are better at, and that's it. So like, it has no following also, because if I am better at something, I do the task. If she is better at doing something, she does the task. Like, you understand? That's literally all it is. It has no following there. That's just you're doing things that make sense.
Well, if they're going to be the primary and you're supporting them, that means you're allowing them to take the lead on that, and you're there not trying to assert dominance or control or assuming you know how to do it better. That's what I mean by allowing them to take the lead in your following. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I'm not submitting just because I follow. I'm actively, mindfully using my free will to choose to go in a direction.
No, you're backing them up.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
why language is very, very, very important when we having these discussions. It have the proper
All I,
rules for these things, but yeah.
all I
I'm,
know is on
I'm,
the
I'm a huge person on words and definitions, and for some reason, when we say submit, it means you're allowing, or it's a negative term. By definition, you look it up. Submit means to include or accurately absorb something with you.
No,
yeah, I'm gonna have to I'm
no,
gonna
that's
put
not.
just a little bit because it's actually a bit darker than that word, that definition. And you know what? I'm not gonna say that it doesn't include what you just said. It's just the last time I looked at it, it says something a bit different. So I'll go on mute now and look it up.
Okay.
It's yielding to a superior force.
Yeah.
There it is. Those are the words I remember right there.
Yeah.
So,
And actually, also you have to understand how was submission implemented into society consecutively. Was it a good thing or a bad thing?
In history, there has been. Yeah. Okay. What is up with the lives and bad prompt placement? Okay. So why don't you educate me on the proper placement of prompts? Like, oh, you want me to say
that was
okay, fine.
that's a real technical comment.
Yeah. So let me get out of the way so you can read the prompt because apparently that's super important right now. Like, you know, it's very strange. Anyway,
Hurry up. I don't want to wait to learn context. I'm impatient and I'm important.
I'm gonna do this, so that solves the problem. Now you can read the prompt while you're listening to me. Yeah, congratulations. We've made you the most important person in the room. Anyway, he apparently listening is not a way of knowing what we're talking about. He has to read the background to know what we're talking about while hearing the words that we're saying. Interesting. Anyway, yeah. So throughout history, I recognize that there's never been a positive depiction or connotation whatsoever of submission in every facet. It's always been the same, and which is the definition that you literally just described, which is that submitting or conforming to a superior force. So when we're describing and we're talking about partnerships, as we have now broken it down, what a healthy partnership looks like. From that context, I have to agree that submission does not hold a place as the word to attach to what was just described.
So I'm one who loves the etymology of words, right? And y'all gonna make me do a deep dive into this after I get off here. But just looking at the words themselves, just for as we're presently taking them in, submission, not even just submission. To the good brother Detz, who mentioned specifically how I remembered it, the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. Now, if we just go submit definition, accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. And I'll say this, look, my mom and pops have been together since like 1984, I think. I forget how long my mother-in-law has been with her husband and my father-in-law has been with his wife because they separated and married other people. But I have uncles who are married, all of that. My entire life, I've never heard this word used for people. I promise you, I've never heard this word used for relationships. I've been very fortunate to be with Keisha since 2009. We've been married since 2013. 4 kids, the whole thing is wonderful. Never once had that conversation. Never even seen the purpose. Never seen the need to. I love that lady. She loved me, but more importantly, I like that lady. She liked me. I'm not thinking about either of us being a superior force or authority to the other. We're human beings. I'm not doing that.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and that's my thing. It hasn't been a word, superior, wiener rocker, but there are spaces that I know my wife should be making a decision. Now, you
I
may
agree.
say I'm pandering and stuff like that, but that's her area of expertise. I wouldn't have partnered with her if she had nothing to make us together greater.
True.
Right.
Right. But what we're saying is it have the correct word for that. And submission is the absolute wrong word for that. So my question to you is why would you want to use the wrong word?
But you're using one context of the word, and then the greater thing is what society does has absolutely nothing to do with what goes on in my household. So how they apply it does not work in here.
No, listen what I'm
But wait,
listen
that's
what
what I will say. That real quick, what I will say is I understand what you're saying to him because I agree with that. But again, to the point of the etymology of words, the dictionary only defines the word. How we take the words from there and use them to the way that we use them is all based on what society agrees on the word meaning. Unfortunately. Right. So, like, for example, for people coming from it from a biblical stance, in which I don't come from it in that way, even then, they need to dig a little bit more in the word when they're using it that way. But a lot of people truly don't believe it is submitting to me as the ruler over you or the authority over you. It means to them, they feel is we're submitting to each other. Even then, I'm like, yo, just go to the definition of the word and change the word. It's okay. But for them, they're okay. It's like, nah, look, I've heard this word used this way for a long time. I'm using it this way. I'm not using it the way that you understand it. It's the way that I'm understanding it and taking it.
No, but Jay,
So real quick, Dex. Real quick,
okay.
Dex. This is important. I think that what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and I would say this: if at the end of the day, right, beyond the definition, because as you just described, it's more of a description of simply how it's used in society commonly. Of course, that's going to evolve, change, and so on and so forth. But within your household, Lex, since we're using your example, right? Within your household, if that is something that you would then choose to use, not saying you do, but if y'all were to choose to use that word within your household to describe that dynamic of saying, well, this is something that she's an expert in, and so I'm going to submit to her leadership on this and vice versa. I'm not going to tell you what to do in your house. But what I will say for the sake of the room, for the sake of this conversation, The caveat that I will insert here is that when you leave the comfort of your own home, you come on a public app, or when you go out and you're having this conversation with other people and what have you, it's always imperative to be sensitive to the fact that we are going to see this definition and recognize that that definition is going to hold true for us. So when you say submission, automatically what you read earlier is what you're saying to me, even though in your mind I meant this. So I'm always going to add that caveat whenever people say those certain things in public conversations.
Well, I'll give the room credit for at least, you're right, going to the definition. But that's not true, especially on this platform. It's more what the societal norm is.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them don't even know what the definition is, what everybody else is saying it is.
Right.
But
That is true. That is something that happens a lot of times. People do not refer back to, some type of documentation, some type of consistent track record of how words are properly used. Even going back to this pandering thing, right? Because that's really the whole core point of this conversation, is that this word, the way that it's been understood to actually mean, is not the way it's been used as of late. Because
Right.
it should not describe what he's doing. It should not describe what I'm doing. It should not describe what Jay's been doing. It should not describe what Dex has been doing. Like, a lot of us have had this word thrown at us like venom, and it does not apply to what we've been doing. Once again, what this word has meant from a dictionary definition standpoint is not how it's been used.
But that's my point when it comes to these things, right? And that's part of the deconstruction. Someone who is purposely misusing a word, to me, is a manipulator, because you know the true meaning of it and you're changing it for your benefit.
I don't
And
completely
that
disagree with that. I see
and
this.
Real quick, Demo. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So we're having this discussion to understand the meaning of words. We're having a men's focused conversation to really unpack this, so we navigate these things properly and we actually get to the part of growth, which is really the whole point of this. And the first thing that you did was make this about Modern Warrior. Whether he is or isn't is irrelevant. This is not about him. He lives rent free in your head, that you came to a space where he's not even here to tell us that he's a pandering tool. First of all, let me make a couple of things clear, right? The things that he has spoken about are things that he personally believes in. That's his personal convictions. Number two, he's in a relationship. Everybody here knows that. If you've been paying attention, you know who he's in a relationship with. He's not concerning himself with you. Yeah, I didn't ask for an example. See, that's another thing, right? Is that as men, this anti-intellectualism, really, we need to be set free from that too. Because if I ask you what is something, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is an example instead of actually a description, basic paraphrasing of a definition, or even looking up the definition and reading it verbatim. Instead of doing that, the first thing you want to do is an example. Because I would disagree with you when it comes to Modern Warrior. But again, this isn't about him. You just chose to use that as an opportunity to try to drag him, thinking that we're going to co-sign that.
I got a point to make after Dex finished. I want to hear what the brother was finishing up
So
with.
go ahead, Dex, and then Jay.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm a stickler to when it comes to words and stuff like that, right, is because language is what causes people to either do good or bad, right? Misusing of words is one of the key components that dictators use in order to oppress people, right? That's literally the beginning stages of it, right? So and that's why I wanted to ask, what is your motivation to use the wrong word or change the actual meaning of the word? We've seen what that word have done in society. We've seen how it is used. It's used by the actual definition because it is an oppressive word. It causes oppression. That's why it's force. That's why you're yielding to a superior force. You understand what I'm saying? It has absolutely nothing loving about it. And it have loving words when they come into a loving relationship, but you choosing to not use. That is purpose to me, because it have loving words that you could use to describe your relationship, describe the dynamics in your relationship, and you are purposely choosing an oppressive word to mislead. You understand what I'm saying? And we've seen it throughout society that men have used words like this in a loving way, but when we see the actions, we've seen the laws that being passed, we've seen the, you understand what I'm saying, the actual implications to women, right? It has always been the true meaning, not the fake meaning that we made up. And that's why I talk like this, because if you truly want to deconstruct these things, you have to set aside that ego and realize, well, all right, you know what? I was misusing this word. It does have the actual word. And I will start actually using the correct word instead of forcing to say, well, I'm going to use it the way I want to use it, which is the same way that the manipulators and the dictators use it in. But I supposed to believe you and say, well, you are different from them somehow. You understand what I'm saying? That is the issue here. This is the same playbook. That's why patriarchy has been going on over and over and over. And it have men would literally say that I am a good man, but you talk just like the bad, like the same man. You're using the words that they use. You're misusing it the way they're using it, to use it to manipulate and get your advantage. Right?
So, so here's the thing about that, and I'm going to reiterate an earlier point. But what's happening in this moment? I seen it happen literally last night. I was on the Good Brothers Peaky panel, and there was a gentleman who came completely from his whole stance on all of this was biblical because he's Christian. Now, I used to be Christian. The reason why I'm no longer Christian is because I read that book. And I remember a lot from the book, actually. He spoke of his wife being the weaker vessel last night. And it, like, it started a whole different conversation because of those words, and deservingly so. He was speaking from, and I may not remember the verse completely word for word, but I know it's 1 Peter 3-7. And it says to husbands to dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. And the way it was described, the interpretation of it was mainly talking about from a physical point and not from a spiritual or intellectual point. And that's what he was thinking. Like, he was thinking, like, I love my wife. Of course, I don't view her as somebody lesser than me. But when you say weaker vessel, then as the general public, the only thing we're going to hear, because we know history, is, damn, why are you looking at that lady like that, bro? You all right? and, and that's understandable. So, yes, the fact is that words do mean things. We have definitions of them. Yes. But we also have the etymology of words, how they started, what were they first intended for, when they got popular, what were they intended for, did it slightly change from the beginning? And then after the peak of the word, when it started to go down, then what was it used for? What is it possible to be used for in the future? I don't think you're wrong, Dats, in the fact that we use words and we have history to show us how these words were used, how they were bastardized, how they were weaponized, right? But I think there are certain people who, when they use these words, they don't go completely by the definition that the book gives. It's the definition of the understanding of when they have used it. And for the most part, I agree with you. I'm not going to use the word. It's not necessary in my household. I don't even look at our kids as them submitting to us. We treat our kids like the human beings that they are. Does discipline exist? Yes. But the discipline exists in this house in a level of patience. We have conversation because we've always had conversation as a family here, right? So I understand at the end of what you're saying, well, the totality of what you're saying is that words have meaning and that we can go to it and we can define it and we can even look at the etymology and see how much it changed or how little it changed. But I do think there are certain people who use the words that way from not according to the way the book have described it. And we know, depending on how society use words, eventually the books kowtow to it as well. Because the word is converse, not conversate. But so many people use conversate that is now in the dictionary. so so yeah, it's just it's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pause this for just a moment. So Rob, I got you in just a second. Hey Yellow.
Do you need me to hate from the comments?
Oh my god.
I am small, but I can take up space elsewhere.
Yeah. I'm just trying to kind of make sure we're clear. I get you, Rob. I get you. Yeah, so hey Yellow, was there something in particular that you were wanting to join for, or were you just joining to join the conversation?
Both.
Okay. Reason I asked is because primarily in since we got an open thing.
Oh, I didn't realize it's Let's Men's Talk. I didn't even see it. I'm gonna come back. I'll come down. I'll go in the comments.
No. It's fine because, like I said, as you see, there's the free emperors are here as well. But like I said, if I need to make space for more men, then
That's fine.
essentially then I'll just make space in the boxes that you're sharing. But since Rob had to step away for a second, feel free to chime in.
Okay, so for me, pandering is nothing like what they call y'all, right? Pandering to me is when you have some type of financial gain or sexual gain off of your behavior, right? And there's really, for a lot of the guys that they yell panderer to, they're like literally just in the box. Like, what are you talking about, coming off on $1 or something like that, $2 when you get off the live, maybe if some women sent you some gifts? Like, that's not pandering, right? Pandering is like begging people for money and all of that other kind of stuff is when you are a panderer, right? But they utilize it in a way to disarm and not disarm, but like to stop any men from quote unquote crossing over to the other side. It literally, when they use that and they do simp and all this other kind of stuff, what they want to do is say, we cannot allow this to happen. And it's maybe not even about the man that they're calling the panderer, but about any other men that might be listening. They want you to know that if you divest from the cult of men, as I've heard Dex and Public use the cult of men, if you divest, I want you to know that you'll be ostracized. I want you to know that we will call you names. I want you to know that we're going to treat you badly. I want you to know that you can no longer be part of the club. And so it's very much like public flogging, right? Or other public, public strange fruiting.
It's their scarlet letter.
Yes, but it's not just the scarlet letter, right? It's the when they start yelling it from the comments and stuff. So scarlet letter, you walk around with it even if you're not doing anything, right? Even if you're just going to the grocery store, you got scarlet letter on you no matter what. But what they want to do is they, in the moment, in real time, when they hear you say anything that could be about fairness or the benefit of women or the benefit of all of us seeing women as human beings, they want to, in that moment, let any other man that's listening know, hey, if you do the same thing, this is going to be your outcome. So y'all better not even try and go over there because to human beings, right? Being part of some kind of club tends to be important to them. right? So if you want to go, you can't be on the club, you can't be in the club of men anymore if you're going to do that. You need to know that this is good. I want you to see this person's outcome, and I want you to understand that the outcome will be the same for you. So sometimes, like I said, it's not even about the man that they're calling the names to. It's really about letting other men know you better not try it. And I'll land right there.
So infinite combo. Hold on.
I just want to say I appreciate the fact that the conversation is having. This is good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Infinite combo. Listen, I will make space. Either up here, down here. Since you are under the impression, and it looks like you have somebody else here with your blue mutant, you're under the impression that the women hate you. So you refuse to say anything for the women or for the people, as you said, that hate you. Come on in, let's talk about it. Like this is the space to talk
Drop to bring to make space. I'm gonna drop.
I hope you even appreciate that I changed my background just to make him comfortable.
I haven't seen that picture in forever, Empress. That's hilarious. I remember when you first brought that one out. I just seen the comment you talking about, Jeremy. God, yo, that is wait. See, look. Here's the thing. To actually see the words and read them that way, it sets heavier to me because they're never just that cut and dry with the usage of the words of women already hate us. It's like, my man, I give you an example and I go on mute so somebody else can get it. I'll give you a perfect example. And I don't mind calling this name because I don't respect him. Lower Ninth Ward, whatever. I ran into that dude months ago on somebody's panel. And he asked me, he said, in the last 5 years, have your interactions with women been positive or negative? And without pause, I said overwhelmingly positive. And without pause from him, he said, you are lying. And I wasn't offended by him saying that I was lying. I was concerned because what it's telling me is that what you are implying is that in the past 5 years with your experiences with women, it has been negative. And the only thing that I am to surmise from you telling me that is the number one denominator, the person, the thing that is there of all of these interactions that you've had with women is you. And you are refusing to look in the mirror and say, bro, why are we having this many bad experiences with women? In the past, you gave me the metric of past 5 years. In the past 5 years, which is a short period of time. So for a man to come out and say women already hate us and feel the need to put us on there, not saying women already hate me, because you feel the need to put us so that we can be like we, I am only left to ask, what have your experiences been to come to such a conclusion, and how can we go from there?
Absolutely. So, and that's the reason why I invited him up here, because I need to.
Wonderful. I see him. Awesome.
I need to get that understanding. So, Blue Mutant said we are not required to help, so no expectations of them doing so shouldn't exist. Yeah. So I mean, that tells me everything. It's like everything that you do is out of obligation, not out of genuine care. You don't have authentic relationships with people where you genuinely do for each other because you care about the person. It has to be an obligation for you. So that's your experience. Good luck with that. I can't relate. Is this Mossy?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thank you for having me up.
Real quick, just want to do, because I know them. So how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up an anecdotal experience, right? And it's prevalent, amongst my community of women. I'm not gonna say it's black women in general, but just women. Um, there comes a time where I meet someone. I'm engaged, by the way, but I meet someone. We have good interaction, and I'm not fixated on like I'm not trying to sexualize her or anything. I'm just like platonic. And I say, hey, can I get your number just so, because I'm into community organizing. So I'm like, hey, can I get your number? And she's like, oh, I don't feel comfortable giving out my number. You can have my Instagram. And I'm like, oh, like what's going on, like I'm talking to her, like why do you feel uncomfortable? She's like, oh, because I just do. So she gives me her Instagram, and then a day later she adds me, because we both have our Instagram private. And then I look on her Instagram and it's her half naked. And I'm like, all I wanted was your number. I didn't want to see all of that, you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted your Instagram, I would have asked for your Instagram, but I just didn't, bring it together. I didn't know how it correlated with her feeling not comfortable with me getting her number, but she gave me her Instagram to see her half naked. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what to think. So I want to ask you guys, why is that prevalent in the community?
Okay, so real
Yeah.
quick,
Oh,
one
okay,
second, Jay, one
Jeremy. I'm
second.
as soon as you're done.
Yeah, so real quick, because I know a lot of y'all in the comments are struggling to figure out who's doing the talking. Like you've been doing, just feel free to ask. We'll tell you. There's somebody up here by the name of Mossy, and it's a glitch that's going on where people are taking a while to load in for you all to see them. We see them right away, but it's taking a minute for the comment section. So I sincerely apologize for that. TikTok going TikTok. So I just genuinely apologize, but I am aware that it's causing y'all not to be able to see who's talking. As long as y'all can hear them, though, that's really what I want to make sure of, is that you're able to hear everybody when they speak. Jay, go ahead and you respond first.
Yeah, because I know Debs may have. I'm pretty sure Debs got something on his too. Here's the thing. It's a little bit hard to respond to it because, like you said, it's anecdotal. However, you said it's anecdotal, but you said it's a thing that you believe that happens more to you in this anecdotal thing, which is interesting, by the way. There we go on words again. Um, I would think, honestly, just from the top of any of this with community organizing, I'm probably not going to ask for anybody's number. I'm going to ask more for your email, likely. Give me a moment.
Yeah. So let me make sure I'm
Phone
clear on
call. I
something.
don't know what's happening with that. I'm sorry.
I
So,
just want to make sure I'm
here,
clear on something though, real quick, if you don't mind.
okay,
Mossy,
yeah, go ahead.
what under what circumstance were you asking for a phone number?
So I was at a community event. I was organizing, just talking to people, and I would ask the guys and the girls like, "Hey, I would rather have your phone number so I can save your contact because I can add emojis and things, and it would be easier for me to like hit up everybody at once because I put a specific emoji."
You
Gotcha.
could do that with email too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really like people don't look at their emails like they do SMS. So, yeah,
They look at their social media more often. Look, I put it this way: it's a little bit more invasive to have my phone number. Is it, even as a man, it's a bit more invasive. I, even as a man, am more willing to give you my social media than my phone number. However, I say this: what she does on her Instagram, in terms of what she's wearing or not wearing, there's no bearing on whether she wanted you to see that or not. That is something that she shared for because she wanted to.
Well,
It is,
but
so saying that she felt
Yeah.
uncomfortable, implying that she felt uncomfortable by not giving you her phone number, but she felt comfortable to give you her social media, in which her social media have pictures that you don't, that you would think, why would you be uncomfortable if you give me this? I don't, the two aren't connecting. She just felt more comfortable giving you the social media rather than her phone number. I don't think that says anything more or less about her at all. And I don't think it's a prevalent thing among society. It may be, just like you said, anecdotal.
but here's the real thing though. You've proven the point why she was uncomfortable,
There it
right?
is.
you're proving the point, because when you saw her Instagram, you start judging, you start looking down, like, and those things when
No,
it
I'm
comes,
not looking
not,
down.
wait,
Hold
let
on,
me
Marcy.
just
Hold on,
finish.
Marcy. Hold on, Marcy.
Let me just finish. So, because in these situations, it's dangerous for women with men with this mindset that think they're entitled to her number, or like what we want from a woman, that we entitled to it, that she's supposed to just give it because you want it. Like that entitlement becomes dangerous for women. And that's why I'm saying you're proving it in real time. That's why quote unquote nice guys are very, very dangerous to women, because we
Right.
have this entitlement that, well, I'm really a nice guy. I really just want to have your number and this and that and the other. But listen to what it is you say it and how you said and this explain the story here. Like, I am a man and I'm telling you right now, how you describe that, you are judging her. You understand what I'm saying? To the point that she is not no longer worthy of respect, or like, you understand? That's how it came across. I don't Impact is way more important than your intent. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the issue. I mean, from the main fact that you just changed the entire conversation, that's the second part I will talk about, because you just ignored the entire conversation because you think you was entitled to change it and talk to what it is you wanted to talk about instead of actually talking. But that also translates to what it is you're talking about here. That entitlement is the issue. I'll land there for
Well,
now.
no, so I'm not judging her, and based on the topic, I feel like it falls right into it because we're talking about experiences, right?
Well, if
I
I
didn't
could,
feel entitled. I didn't feel entitled.
Well,
I was just asking a question as to,
right,
why you feel
Marcy,
uncomfortable because
Marcy.
right,
I
we heard you. We heard the question. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off because I'm very curious, and we've been going back and forth a little bit, and I would like to hopefully help things along. It's when you suggested that ease for you could supersede her feeling of safety.
no, I never
No, no,
wanted
don't.
to leave.
I'm
I
not
just
done. Hold
wanted
on.
to
Hold,
understand
hold.
why.
Marcy,
I know. I'm
But
just.
Marcy,
Hold
okay.
on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold
Marcy,
on. Hold
you
on.
gotta hold on and listen.
Yeah. What I'm saying here is, from her perspective, from a woman's perspective, and I'm acknowledging what I'm saying from who I am right now, that I don't know everything. So this is my subjective opinion. That all men or no men kind of thing means that every man represents a potential danger. We all show up. None of us are wearing warning signs or labels or anything. So they have to assess in that moment. You
Right.
ask for a phone number.
Well, it's kind of like
Marcy,
right
Marcy,
there.
Marcy, stand by. He just won't take up for a second. He's got a phone call.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he probably just got a phone call, bro.
Yeah, just
Oh,
give
now
him.
my battery's dying. No, what happens
Hold
was
on.
she filtered you out to a further circle that you had to surpass. That's why you got pushed out, not let in, because as much as that Instagram projection might seem like to you that she's showing more, that's not her. That's what she's showing on her Instagram. That's where she filters everybody she's not sure about. Now, is that the right choice? I don't know. When it really comes down to it, I think we're really walking a dangerous moral line when we start asking what's right or wrong. She's protecting herself. And so when you say it's easier to have a phone number, she hears you're not as concerned about her safety or respecting the fact that women live in a very dangerous world. And I know that's not what you mean, but there's no way for her to know better. Do you understand that? So, like, again, when you say it's easier, all they hear is, I don't care. At least that's what my take is.
Yeah. So, Marcy, I'm gonna say this in yellow. I got you, so we can wrap this up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Yellow wanted to get in, Jeremy.
Yeah. So I need you to, because you brought an anecdotal story that we didn't ask for, and it's uncommon that we do a lot of sharing of anecdotals here. I don't have a set rule against it, but it's uncommon because it does kind of it does impact the dynamics of the conversation itself. But because you brought that here, understand that people are going to then give you their critiques. They're going to give you some insight and some things that you may have missed, right? And this is not immediately putting you on trial to make you a villain, but what is doing is shedding light on some things that you, in you telling us this story, you clearly missed yourself. And so I need you to be intentional about listening without feeling the need to jump in and respond, because what they're saying is absolutely true. And now you're going to hear directly from a woman what their perspective will be like that you missed. Go ahead, Yellow.
I'm following the vibes, Jeremy, so I'm going to keep with the vibes, okay? So, listen, and I know you want to tone police me anyway, but I'm going to continue with the vibes as it is, regardless.
Hmm?
Okay. So, Mr. Mossy, nice to meet you this afternoon. I listened to your story. There were two major points that were very red flaggy. First is the feeling away about her getting the phone number, and the second was your feelings about what she had on the Instagram posts. I'm not going to address the Instagram post part. I think I'll let the men have handled that already, and they touched on the other part that I'm going to touch on. I 100% agree with everything that the men said about the Instagram post. I'm going to say this, and in line with what Jeremy was saying, it was about safety, okay? You can reverse look up a phone number. You cannot reverse look up by Instagram. So until she felt comfortable with you, because this is somebody that was a perfect stranger that you met at a random event, right? You are a random stranger, right? She would prefer to communicate with you through social media where you cannot reverse look up her, where you cannot reverse look her up, find her full name, her address, all of those other kind of things, which can be done with simply a name and a phone number, right? And maybe you meant no harm, right? Maybe you meant no harm. Maybe that was never your intention. But existing as a woman in this world, we have to always be wary that it might be. And I ask you one question, right? And then I'll continue. Would you have been more comfortable if she had just said no and didn't offer you even a little bit of access?
That's a good question.
No, I wouldn't have been upset about no.
No. So what I'm saying, I didn't say if you'd be upset. I said, would you have preferred it?
If she would have said no, then to.
So what happened is you said, could I get your phone number? I do event stuff or whatever it is that you said that you do.
I'm sorry, can you just rephrase the question again? I got it.
Sure, absolutely. Right. So you said all of that. And then she says to you, ugh, I'm not really comfortable giving out my phone number, but I'll give you my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have preferred her to have said, I'm really not comfortable giving you my phone number, and then just ended right there? Would that have been your preference?
No, I was comfortable with her giving me her social media. If she would have said no, it would have been no.
Because it very much seemed when you were telling the story, and now it's starting to seem different,
Right.
that you felt a way about the fact that she relinquished you to the level of social media as opposed to the level of phone number, which is what was your preference, right? Because of how you wanted to communicate with her. However, for her, because you are a perfect stranger met at a random event, she would prefer to be able to communicate with you. She was giving you a little bit of in, right? Because you might not be BSing, right? You might be. She doesn't know. You might not be a full fraud. You might actually be telling the truth. So let me give you my Instagram so I can find out more from you without giving you the capability of reverse lookup. However, you did not like that. You wanted her to just give you her phone number as a stranger. So I ask you, because what you were left with was two options. She was uncomfortable. We need to respect that, right? I hope you agree. She was uncomfortable. We need to respect that, right? She was protecting herself. We need to respect that. So you were left with one of two options from her. Let me give you access that I think is safer, or no access at all.
I totally understand, and thank you guys for the enlightenment. I appreciate it. But yeah, it totally makes sense. Her comfortability over mine, and it wasn't. If she would have said no, I would have just would have to accept that, right? The thing is, because I use social media, and what I see on social media is like, okay, people are showing personality, they're showing their whereabouts, and I came across, like, I didn't really want to get to know everything about you. I kind of wanted to, like, okay, I'm gonna organize an event, and you come and you show up and you showcase that personality. That's the type of vibe I was on, but I totally get what you guys were saying. And
So, Marcy, I'm gonna give you a quick solution so we can move on. When she accepted your request,
you said, when did she?
no, I'm pausing
Oh.
because I want you to grasp what I'm about to say to you. There's a simple solution. When she gave you access to her Instagram, when she accepted the request, you could have simply just go to her page whenever you're sending her a DM as it relates to whatever organization events you got going on. Hey, just sharing with you a heads up. Here's the flyer for whatever we got going on. Hope to see you there. You can do that without scrolling and looking at her pictures. You can do that without looking at anything on her page. You, as June pointed out in the comments, you went to her page. You passed judgment. You are the one who then insulted and mentioned all of these things to us. Something we didn't ask for. You decided to pass judgment on her over something that you didn't even have to look
I
at.
didn't judge her. I mean, if I see something that's not me, I'm gonna mention it.
Hey, Marcy, the
I'm
time
not
of
judging you.
Jeremy,
Marcy,
when you get a chance, I want to add.
Marcy, the time of centering you is over. Okay, I need you to understand that the time of centering you is over.
Especially since Infinite came up here for a specific reason.
All right, there we go.
Let me just real quick, and I'm really speaking to men, maybe not so much, but anyone to be listening. All of that extra, her page, and this and this and this, bro. She told you no. Let's make that the new standard. Women
Right.
saying no, and you not rationalizing why you shouldn't have got a no. She just said no. That's it. All this, I went on her page. She told you no, and even in an attempt to save, she gave you a limited access, and you're still rationalizing why you should have got what you thought you should have got, the type of access. The answer is no. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah,
Also, I'm willing to bet the quote half naked pictures are not actually half what he's saying. It's just the amount of skin that he's uncomfortable seeing. So that's that.
right. Yeah, I think he did leave because I would have got a notification if anybody dropped him, and y'all could see my hand, so you can see I didn't drop him. Infinite Combo. Real quick, how old are you? You still there?
Maybe he stepped away to do something.
Damn it, Marcy, you messed up a conversation we was gonna have with the brother Infinite.
Well,
because now that I'm thinking back to it, what he gave us had nothing to do with what we had going on here.
Nothing at all.
Right.
while
It was
while
the
we're waiting, for him to come back up, let me just say, as someone who has had a long-standing stalker, men like Mossy and we'll just call him Blue Chew, who it looks like you muted in the comments. Men like those are exactly why I have multiple numbers. And most people don't get the number that leads directly to me.
Yeah. I have seen that that's become a lot more prevalent, where they have the Google number or whatever.
Yeah.
And they use that number instead.
And that's the spaces we talked about, the conversation men need to have men. And when you're in this group, guys, and you see your homie do that, she told you no. That's it. She's not the B. She's not this. You got turned down. Tuck your ego and leave it alone. Let's not help excuse these actions amongst each other of men. Don't be weird. She told you no. I can't stress this enough. It should be a space where women have to get multiple numbers, but I understand the safety. It shouldn't be a space where just to get your way, she got to give you another limited access. Less men, when we see this in the comments, in our groups, bro, that's it. Stop.
But
I,
that. Oh, so go ahead. I'll go after.
yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'll be quick though, Dex. Idea, and I'm, it's like just popped into my head. So if there's something wrong with it, this is a wonderful group to have it to be destroyed early, so it doesn't cause any harm. But idea, what if we as guys who are trying to be advocates for genuine male mental health create a consulting service or a service that stalks men with their consent? So say you want to deconstruct, you want to understand what it feels like to be relentlessly pursued against your will so that you can have some perspective of what it feels like, just a taste, nowhere near close, but just a taste. And then all the guys who are good at it just start pounding. Again, it couldn't be against their will, otherwise we'd have to deal with the legality of it. But if you wanted to actually, like for me, if I'd sign up and you'd all come after me for like a month, after that I'd hear
Can I
no better is
consult
my
for said
point.
service?
It's just an
Can I
idea.
consult for this service?
Continuing
Okay.
in a small infraction, all of us, but men, we felt it. We get that consistent. We're calling about your car insurance.
I've been getting them ever since I've been on this live. I won't say I've seen one like that one yet, brother, but there is somebody who does a live on here that is on the thought experiment of rejection therapy. And seeing man after man after man come up there, every once in a while she would put on her prompt that this is rejection therapy. And they
Oh
would
yeah.
still go up there
Yes.
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
and
I created a
even
compilation
the
of
quote
those clips,
unquote,
Jay. I created a compilation of those clips.
oh, wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. Even the quote unquote good guys who go up there, it's still rejection therapy.
Yep.
Y'all,
Well, I'm
if you
talking
never,
about
if it,
creating an experience where a guy who's never experienced what it feels like to not have their boundaries respected by someone pursuing them, like
yeah,
literally an experience. I don't know if that's rejection. I mean, you're right. It's adjacent. It's in the same kind of like lane, but it's
right,
more
right, right.
specific. It's right. You don't have perspective. This is an experience designed to show you a taste of a perspective that will help you learn to respect boundaries. Like, I
I
mean, talk
think
about it as boundaries resilience training.
the
So
only men that will sign up for that are the men that wouldn't have been problematic to begin with.
Right.
that was what I was
Yeah,
actually
I
going
was
to say.
thinking that too. So it would
Because
have to be
outside of
like
that, they
level
don't think
two
that
of
they are
self
the
proof, of
man.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That man
So
came up here only to change the conversation into a let's bash women conversation. His
Yes.
expectation was that I mean, he probably noticed that it's mostly men and that he could come up here and be like, why do women do this? And that all the men would be like, yeah, man, I don't know. Nah, that's messed up. All
so
right, I'm on
that's
mute.
yeah. So that's really my point, right? Is that the same way I place this expectation on white people is the expectation I'm placing on men. They need less spaces to be comfortable and feel safe to do what he was trying to do, right? That needs to be the minority until it's no longer a thing.
So real quick before the good brother P could go, because that's an excellent point. I think he's seen majority men and was like, yeah, this is my corner.
Yeah.
He probably even looked at Empress picture and thought it was a dude too. He was like, yeah, this is it. I can let this out. I
No
can't let it out
joke.
anywhere.
Hey,
No
Jay.
joke.
Wow.
I
Jay,
do use this picture.
that
I
makes
do
me
use this
the
picture to help make them safe.
that makes me the pick me that be hanging out with the problematic men.
That's
That's
true.
funny. That's funny.
There's always one ducked off in the cut. But that's literally the idea and the intention behind that. Is simply put, I want you to keep exposing yourself to the menfolk and recognizing that there are more and more men who are going to be willing to speak up and push back against the nonsense. They're going to be more willing to be like, nah, we ain't rocking with that, and you shouldn't either. Like, you need to be to a point where you have nowhere else to go and run to think that you're safe doing this. I'm gonna try this one more time before we move to Peaky because I see you, bro. Infinite Combo, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. I want us to have this conversation, and Peaky, if you want to chime in on this, by all means, you don't need any formal introduction. But Infinite, you were in my comment section talking about how women hate us,
Yes.
and I think it's interesting that somehow you somehow roped all of us into whatever experience that you may be having. So, could you enlighten me on why you feel like women as a collective just hate us?
Well, certainly the women on the internet. The women in real life don't seem to think or be the way it's portrayed on the internet. The women
So
online.
are you? Wait, I want to make sure I'm clear on something because I want to follow this logic. Because clearly, the women on the internet are still real, right?
Sure.
So, are you saying that they only pretend to hate men on the internet and then in real life they don't, or is there a
I'm
confusion?
not too sure, but I just know if you disagree with the consensus thought, you even question it, you're a part of the problem. So I think that's really unhealthy way to have any type of conversation. I think it's a one-sided conversation. To me, this whole thing living together is like robbing a bank. Now, you have an idea, but if I'm asking what's next, what do we do after that, and then you shut me up, why would I want to rob this bank anymore? Doesn't seem like, you know what I mean?
That was a strange analogy we just went. Like we're talking about interactions with women and somehow comparing that to robbing banks. What is the
Well, it's because it's
consensus
a group
thought process?
activity.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. What is the consensus thought process that they're not supposed to be pushing back against? What is that consensus thought process?
Well, for example, the gentleman in the picture when I came up, I think Deontay Kyle's his name. So the thing everybody was in uproar about, what was it 2, 3 days ago? So when he said men are mostly evil and we're accountable for that. And I was just kind of like, we can't control the thing I was saying that got me stoned everywhere. It was like, I can't control men I don't know. Right. And then it's, oh, you're evil, you're part of the problem, blah blah blah, you need to check these men. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, okay, but if I step in, who's gonna take care of my family if something happened to me? Then you're called a coward. And then I'm just like, okay, all right. I mean, I had some concerns for my own safety, but I guess that makes me a coward. So
So
that's
stepping
kind of
in
where we're
automatically leads to violence.
I mean, I've
I
broken
think
up
men should
with
start
domestic
being more
abuse.
comfortable. I think men should start being more comfortable with calling themselves cowards and live in that. If you feel like that's who you are, then you should do
I
that.
agree. I agree with you, Jay. So
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to make sure I'm following. You're saying that men stepping in and saying anything leads to violence every time.
So in my personal experience, I broken up a domestic dispute, pushed the man
Mm-hmm.
down, and carried the woman away who
Oh,
started
so they're not
attacking me.
talking about you then?
No, 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 hold on, hold
Wait,
on, hold on,
wait,
hold
wait,
on,
wait,
hold on,
wait, wait. Were
hold on.
you in
Give me a
V's
second, Empress.
live?
Give
Were
me. Give me
you
a
I,
in
second.
I've,
V's live?
I've never
Give
been
me.
in a lot in this conversation.
Give me a second. So we're now zooming into a very specific anecdotal experience that you had.
Right.
Right. One time.
Yeah.
And you chose in that situation. Where was this taking place at?
My aunt's house.
Oh, so this was at somebody's house. And
Right.
so you saw this taking place, and your first
Hmm.
reaction was to shove him.
Well, I was trying to get the woman out of it. Why would I let a woman fight a man? Trying to shove him,
I
get
think you're
her out of the
missing.
way.
I think you're missing something here because, like, to immediately ask me that question, you're jumping away from the point. Your first reaction in this situation was it physical before you
Yeah.
got involved?
Oof. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. Yes.
So
Take your time.
you're
Fine.
sitting there, you're at the house, you're watching TV. He gets up, knocks you upside the head.
No, there was a commotion outside. Everybody in my house ran outside, left the door open. I kind of got up to see what everybody was clamoring about. And then I seen it. She went in to attack him. I ran in, pushed him, carried her away. She attacked me.
She ran in to attack him, and
Right.
you
No, I
went
don't
in
even know. I
between
think
them
this is somebody my
to
cousin knew.
shove
I don't
him.
even know who she is.
I, I need you to hear what's saying. She was going on the attack to him, and
Uh-huh.
you jumped in the middle and shoved him to stop
Yes.
this attack that she was
Yes.
initiating.
Yes.
Do you hear yourself?
Uh, yeah. So what if he hit her back? Then what?
Do you hear yourself?
I hear myself. What if
Okay,
he
so I'm
hit
gonna
her
need for you
back?
to just stop for a second. I'm gonna say it back to you, right?
Yeah.
She is on the
Mhm.
charge.
Yes, that's correct.
So to stop her from charging him, you shove him
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
So wait, Jeremy, if you will, just allow me a moment here, and I don't want to take up a whole lot of time because I love the brother's peaky perspective on things. So here's the thing: this all started with you believing that women hate us, and then you got up here and you clarified a bit more. You said women on the internet, and you don't see it so much in your day to day in person. Here's
Hmm.
the interesting thing to pull out the day to day in person. The reason why you may not see it the day to day in person is because a lot of women kind of don't want to be bothered with us like that day to day in person.
I
So the
agree.
things that you may hear on the internet, you're hearing it from the safety of wherever they are, away from wherever we are. That
Right.
doesn't mean that these women on the internet are not in your day to day life. You probably just don't know them. And that's
That's
okay.
fair.
But to understand where that comes from, when I tell you that the World Health Organization tells us that 1 in 3 women and girls worldwide are being abused by men, and oftentimes they are in their families, in their homes, would you then say that you understand why, even in your opinion, that women hate us, that they probably would?
Empress, I'm gonna rotate you out for Navi.
You can respond to that quickly if you don't mind.
I'm sorry. What's up? I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, no problem. So when we know that the World Health Organization tells us that 1 in 3 women and girls worldwide are abused by men in some shape, form, or fashion, oftentimes, unfortunately enough, in their own family, in their own homes, according to your belief that women already hate us, would you understand why that would be the case?
If you put it like that, sure, I get it, but I wasn't really talking
But
about.
hey, look, it's not me putting it that way. That's the World Health Organization that keeps numbers of keeps
It's
these numbers. And
yeah,
often,
yeah,
and
yeah.
also remember
I agree
this,
with that.
that's not all the numbers. That's just the numbers that we can prove.
But yeah, yeah, because all of it's not reported. I'm not saying
There
it
it
in a place
is.
like I hate them and they hate us. I'm saying we are having a one-sided conversation. We can't add to the conversation. There, like, see how in my story, it
Hmm.
even gets to the genesis where I'm like, maybe I should have minded my business. That's the lesson I learned. So
So
I'm saying,
So,
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. I'm
no,
sorry. Go
no,
ahead,
give
Jay.
me a moment. I'm gonna finish up
yeah,
right here. I promise. The way that we can respond to that, brother, so that it's not a one-sided conversation. Oftentimes, we jump in panels with women that women aren't even asking us to come up and speak on. A lot of times we could just sit in there and listen. We can absorb things that we probably haven't thought of before, things that we probably didn't know before. The way that we can handle this is what we're doing right now with brothers, with men having this conversation. And when we get to the point of feeling uncomfortable with this ideal of men holding other men accountable, this is the way that it works. When we say that men should be holding other men accountable, it's because real change sits when it comes from within. It's not enough to just say, oh, that's just how guys are. No, while turning a blind eye a bit to the harmful behaviors. Whether it's disrespecting women, ignoring consent, avoiding emotional responsibility, glorifying violence, all these things, the silence is approval. When men speak up, not to shame, but to challenge, to educate, to support, it sends a clear message. This isn't about weakness, it's about integrity. Accountability between men can absolutely start to create safer communities. It can create healthier relationships and build an actual honest brotherhood. It's not about being perfect, no. It's really about checking each other, honestly checking each other in love, man. Because you can't claim loyalty while letting people stay lost. You can't claim to be loyal to this community and loyal to humanity, period. So I end with this. We are not suggesting that we can see all the harms that's happening at every single second around the world. And when these conversations are happening, Nobody is saying that either. What we're saying is your homeboys, your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, even your pops. When you see it, when you hear it, you address it, and it doesn't always have to go to violence. We can have the conversation. So the more of us start to have these conversations, we let the more men know that, hey, this shit ain't happening anymore. And like was mentioned earlier, the cult of men scare men because if you're outside and you're not accepted in it, then okay, I'm gonna need to change or I'm just gonna continue being ousted. That is what men holding other men accountable looks like.
Can I just give 2 sentences and I'm gonna right back on mute?
All
Two
right.
sentences. So listen, I am one of those women that you probably would presume hates men. I'm accused of that all the time. And I just want to respond to that with 3 words. Not all men. I don't hate all men. Yes.
What's the word, Jeremy? What's up,
What's
Jay?
good?
Hey,
What's up,
Yellow.
Deacon?
What's up, Panel? What's up, Lex? What's up, Nava? Um, I don't know. It's a circular conversation. It's an unoriginal perspective. It's often recycled, reused. I mean, what I've learned from women about instances like that is it's not necessarily always about being physical, but it is about taking action. And even if you try to put your family in. If I have to get my family out the way, that's not necessarily the case. It's some form of intervention, some form of de-escalation that could create an opportunity for everybody to walk away whole. So you alluding to the fact that you pushed a man out the way and got attacked by a woman. Um, I'm really tired of talking about that. Like, you haven't heard enough rhetoric yet to get a better understanding. Infinite, what have you heard related to the situation that I'm sure you've used a couple of times?
I'm sorry you're tired of my story. I haven't told it many places.
I'm not talking about your story. I'm talking about the consistent narrative that, oh, men jump in the way and we end up getting hurt. What
Right,
have you
yeah.
heard? What sort of solutions have you heard around that talking point?
Right. That's where I was trying to get, but I got stopped many times. But so whenever I ask this question, we can't get to it because it doesn't matter. We don't, only thing that matters is, stepping in when you see. But I'm like, what happens then? Nobody's answering that.
So
I
okay.
I I have
So
something for that. I was waiting. I'm sorry.
I got your integrity. So uh let me ask you this question. All I want is a number. All I want is a number. If there is some type of situation and you can detect, see, hear, whatever, that a woman in your vicinity is in danger, how many different ways do you think is possible for you to protect her? I just need a number.
I'm sure there's plenty of ways, like calling somebody, I guess calling the authorities, I
See,
suppose,
see,
would be a
see,
better.
see, 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 this is amazing. Like, calling someone is not a number unless something's changed, in the last hour.
What's up?
I said I need a number, and you said calling someone. That's what
Oh,
I
maybe I
mean.
misheard the question. What's the question?
I said I need a number. How many different ways do you think that you could protect her?
I mean, if I mean, not many ways I can think of in the moment, because if you call the
Oh,
authorities,
that's harmful.
So you think there's what, one, two, three?
right? Okay, let's say there's 2 ways, right? You could have jumped in, or you could have called the authorities, right? You call the authorities, he could have knocked her out already. Damage could have been done.
I love how the lack of being able to follow directions, because all of that was not a number. Integrity, go ahead.
Yeah, there was a couple of examples. They just didn't get counted. um, I guess the real thing that I'm thinking about as I hear you talk there, Infinite, is what I recognize. Part of why I'm here is I recognize the threat. and where that threat is. I recognize we're here to advocate and stand up in opposition to said threat. What I hear, and this is me paraphrasing you without attempting to strawman you, what I hear when you say, but it's dangerous, is, but it's a threat. There's a threat, but it's a threat. And the reason I say this is, in my case, for me, while I completely understand the logic of what you're saying, what I don't feel the need is to point out to other people that it's dangerous. What I tell myself is, I'm going to do my best in every individual situation to do my utmost to what I believe is right without walking away or pretending I don't see it. And I'm going to not try to escalate it, but I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to say, hey, you got to understand. Like, why am I saying that to people? Why do they need to understand? They do. They already understand. The only reason we voice that is when we're trying to make an excuse again. And this is the sting part of our cowardice. So what I'll say is, yeah, it's dangerous. And sometimes I'm going to have to stand up to that danger. Or sometimes I'm going to have to be smart if I have responsibilities. Sometimes, but every time I'm going to do my best to stand in opposition to this threat within my limits and within my possibilities. And so I guess that's just the hard part I'm having with what you were saying. Does that make sense?
You know,
And so
something that's really, really interesting. And I see you, Dex, but I want to give Navi a chance to jump into the conversation. What's very interesting is this one track mind that, because Peaky clocked it. We've heard this before. Like, essentially, the narrative, you can change a few little details of the story, but we literally, like, can rinse and repeat. And this happens in clubs. This happened at the store. This happened while I was, walking home. I was at the bus stop. Like, we've heard this story a million different places. Same story, though. And as you can see, the ladies in the comment section, they've heard this more than we have. That's why we can clock what you're doing. Here's the thing. The reason why I asked you a number, and if you said anything more than 5, okay, we're working with something now. But you wanted to then try to set up a scenario that you think I want to hear, and then try to knock it down. Then set up another scenario, and then knock it down. You were trying to do this preemptive thing, and I asked you one simple question that you couldn't actually follow directions on. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to justify choosing violence. You were not recognizing that de-escalation is in fact an option. And here's the thing, right? Men are afraid of men. There are some men that I will admit I have a fear when it comes to certain scenarios. So what do I do in those situations if protection is necessary? I take certain steps to make sure that I make it out of there alive. If it's something that needs to be confronted, I'm probably going to be going to the fellas, especially because whenever I go out, I usually go to places where I know the people. So I'm going to go to the fellas. I'm friends with the bouncer. I know the manager of the place. I know one of the main bartenders. Hey, there's something going down. I need y'all to just stand with me. I'm gonna step up, but I need y'all to stand with me. That's an option. Not a single punch need to be thrown. Not a single thing needs to happen. But those numbers, that's intimidation. That's an option. Navi, by all means, you can speak to the prompt, or you can join in with what we're talking about now.
Hey, good good afternoon, everybody. Whew, that pandering word, boy, I tell you.
I've been sitting on that one for a minute.
Woo, boy, I'm telling you, boy. The way that men it's categorized, other men, it's rooted in jealousy, first and foremost, right? I think that a lot of these conversations where men will call a man a simp or a panderer, it is rooted in jealousy. I've said it before. A group of men, we're speaking on black men, who has to step on another man's neck in order to exalt himself. And that's where these monikers come from, these terminologies of panderers or simps, right? Because you're basically trying to tell the women that may be in attendance that this man is weak and he's trying to take advantage of you. He's trying to finesse you out of one thing and one thing only, because all roads lead to smacks, right? The one-dimensional man. That's what he thinks about, smacks. Yeah, he's saying these not because he likes you, not because he cares, not because he has humanity, because of pinata. And that is, it is a sign of weakness. And when I hear men say those types of things, those same men, and the correlation can be, you can clock it. Those same men who typically call other men panderers and simps, erroneously are the same men that have an excuse as to why they don't protect. Same thing. You just, if you think about it, and you think about the things that they say when this type of conversation comes up about protection, they don't know how, because they don't know how to de-escalate, because that is the major qualification to be able to call yourself a protector. Can you de-escalate a confrontation? If you're unable to de-escalate a confrontation, you're not a protector. Because most of the time when there's some type of physical confrontation, there's always the people who aren't involved that get hurt. The non-combatants, the innocent bystanders. If you're out with your family, it's going to be your kids, it's going to be your wife, your girl, that more than likely will be hurt. Whether physically or the PTSD of watching their father have to, or their man have to get into some type of physical confrontation. And a lot of y'all don't got hands. A lot of y'all don't got hands, so you're going to get served up in front of your you're going to get served up in front of your woman and kids. But seriously, it's not really difficult to actually be someone who brings an aura of protection and safety around other people. A lot of my brothers just don't have it. Like sometimes a man's very presence can de-escalate confrontations. You just walk into a room, and they bring the tension down. They tell a joke, and everybody starts laughing, right? Even like if you're in a situation where a man is putting his hands on another man, and you know that you physically don't want to get involved in that, use your words. You know what those words are? 911. Right? Like if you don't have it, use your words, use your fingers. But a lot of times, men who say that they don't know how to protect because they fear other men are the same type of men who, for the most part, will pull out their camera phone first and record the confrontation, then actually for him to actually try to figure out how to de-escalate it. I've de-escalated for him to actually try to figure out how to de-escalate it. I've de-escalated a lot of confrontations in my life.
Oh,
I tried.
did he run?
Yeah, I tried to avoid
Did they?
physical confrontations as much as possible because of the things that I've been through in my life. I don't want for people to experience that side of me. So I tend to, and I've de-escalated a lot of confrontations between men and women just by de-escalating it, not by telling somebody I'm gonna kick your ass. It's not necessary for the most part. But if you're not that guy, you're not that guy.
So you know what, Navi? Since he ran, I say this. I don't
I
believe your
still don't
hero
like your
story.
voice, J.E.'s. I
And
still
and
don't
you
like
know
your
what? And
voice
I'm gonna
or your
accept that.
jazz music in the background. So I just,
Since he ran, I'll say this because I didn't want to say it while he was here. I was trying to see if we can build up to a larger conversation. But if you're still in the room, brother, and you don't mind coming back up, I'll tell you straight up, I don't believe you're jumping in to help story. I think that was to help out the rhetoric that you were trying to push here today. And the other thing that I recognize with you, unfortunately, that I recognize with a lot of brothers is y'all understanding of things is very minimal. Y'all don't really rely on a lot of nuance of this stuff. And I can tell by the way you were communicating with people in the comments, it's either A or B. As a matter of fact, y'all not even looking straight to B for whatever reason. It's either A or Z. You're not even considering all the letters in between. I don't know how many times people up here have told you that, bro, it don't always have to descend into violence. Your mind is see it, fight. And if we're being honest, your mind is likely see it, run. Because like I said, men need to be more honest with, yeah, I'm a coward. Say it. Say you're a coward so we know who you are in the room. However, even in your cowardice, you can do something. I'm not expecting every man to be an ultimate fighter. Nobody is. But to the degree that we're looking at it now, where I don't know how many videos we've seen of when something is going down, there are more of us holding the phone instead of even trying to intervene in any way. I've seen restaurants where the lady at the restaurant is being abused by a man, and the men who are cooking in the back of the restaurant don't even come to assist. Like, and not even assist physically. They man, them niggas keep flipping on burgers, bro. Admit that you a coward. And you can stay, you can exist in that cowardice.
Infinite combo. Since you decided to say that this is a one-way conversation, I'm not sure how you thought this conversation was going to go, where it's one of us say something to you and then you respond, and then another one of us say something to you and then you get to respond again. So we somehow center you. Like, I don't know if that's what you thought this conversation was going to be like. Um, but the entire time that you were here, while people were talking directly to you about something that you presented in this space, you were in the comment section yapping instead of listening actively so that you could respond directly to what was being said to you. And geese, however you say it, I don't do that ganging up on people. People have responses to something that someone says. I don't do the ganging up. But if you have a problem with multiple people having a response to the nonsense that you say, then you probably shouldn't say it in a public space. You should probably keep those thoughts in your head. But people are going to respond, and they're going to tell you something that you're probably not going to like. That's a problem. Get over it. But the whole point of this is for us to have the conversation, which, by the way, you were the second person to change the topic from what I actually wanted to talk about to whatever you wanted to talk about.
Excellent point. Excellent
I
point.
actually, I actually was trying to figure out how that story correlated to women hate men.
Excellent point.
Yeah. And that's what I
Because
was
we
actually
did
trying to
bring,
get to.
he did get brought up not for the prompt, right? He really,
Right.
in all
Yeah.
fairness, he got brought up to address women hate men.
Right. But that also, that's what I'm saying. Even in that, even in his comment, it was not addressing the prompt. He started this conversation in the comment section, changing the topic. So from the
Right.
get go, he was already off on that.
S-
And here's one
So,
second.
Jeremy, let me propose this,
One
if you
second.
don't
One
mind.
second.
Okay.
One second. Why you still here? Here's the thing. You could have stayed, and I would have given you the floor to say whatever you needed to say back. But I'm going to give other people space to speak. Navi hadn't talked. He sat here waiting for everybody else to finish. He hadn't talked yet. You decided to leave while he was still talking.
But see, here's the thing,
So you
because he,
want to present this perspective of somehow everybody's ganging up on you, that you didn't get a chance to speak. You kept getting cut off. No, you didn't. I need to give other people time to speak. You chose to leave. Now you have two choices at this point. You can come back in the channel and participate in the conversation, or you can bounce. But you're not going to sit on the comment section inputting.
wait, I was going to propose a third option, especially since he got a tag team partner in Gist. I see you guys holding the championship belts now. If both you guys can come up, so you can feel like you got a bit of backup, that'd be amazing too. But in the meantime, I don't know if you've ever used Showtime over here. If it's possible, I say we give him Showtime, give him 2 uninterrupted minutes where we can't unmute in that moment. 2, maybe even if he feel like he needs 3 to get out his total point. I would love to hear it, because one thing that I I hate that I'm understanding, and I'm gonna mention it everywhere I go. I mention it because it's worthy to be mentioned. Only 1% of adult black men are reading and comprehending on an advanced level. Those are numbers that I did not make up.
but
To every rebuttal, to everything you said up here, somebody gave you an answer and you just kept picking up that goalpost and running with it. Anytime you had a chance to speak. So I would love if you and your World Heavyweight Championship tag team partner in Gist come up here and do it together. If you don't have enough followers because he's on a troll backup page, that sucks. But if you would like to come up, I would love to see if we can put you on Showtime for 2, maybe 3 minutes, uninterrupted. You get out your four thoughts.
but you know, what's the funny thing though? He literally gaslighting us in real time. It didn't happen. Like it didn't
It
even.
didn't.
Like we don't need to do that. Like no one did this. He literally just made up a story, just like he made up the other story. He just don't want to be held accountable. He didn't like that we are actually dissecting what he is saying and pointing out the red flags in it. Like you know what I mean? Because I agree, he was more focused on bashing the woman in this situation. You know what I mean? And he didn't care about the jumping in. He was more focused on woman hating men, and because she probably fought him back because he remember in the story he picked her up and was taking her away.
Yeah.
You talking about a woman who in a fight don't know, possibly because he said he don't know her,
But
right?
He
listen,
don't he
okay.
don't know her, but it was at his aunt's house.
Right,
Yeah.
but
So
So
this is the thing, right? Why did you expect? Okay, you got somebody charging at somebody else ready to fight them. You stopped the fight from happening. What makes you think that that person isn't going to go on the offense with you? For all we know, since it's a pretend story anyway, for all we know, that's her man and she found out he was cheating and she's in a rage. So now she's going to go whoop his behind. Or that's her sister's boyfriend and she found out that the sister's boyfriend had hit on the sister, hit on the sister. And she is in a bull seeing red rage. She's charging after the guy. You grab her. She's absolutely going to fight you. She didn't ask to be saved. She felt like she was comfortable in what she was heading off to do. She was in a bull rage. The guy is the one that he saved, actually, because she was like, he said, the guy was in there, minding his business. She comes in and she's charging after the guy. He pushes the guy down, who I guess was innocent or not innocent, but wasn't the violent person, right? The woman is the violent person in the story. So he pushes down the non-violent person and grabs up the violent person and then says the violent person was violent to me. Women hate men.
no, but here's
so
it.
hold on, Dex. Hold on, Dex. Hold on, Dex. Because at this point, something got to give. Like I said, either you're gonna come up here and have the conversation, or you're gonna bounce. But I'm not gonna do this whole thing of dissecting this whatever the story is from the comment section. This is what I'm not gonna do. And I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know I'm not doing the Showtime because he don't need 2-3 minutes to just spew whatever nonsense on panel. We're gonna have a conversation or we're not. I'm sick and tired of men running when challenged and trying to somehow make themselves the victim. You're not gonna do that here. Either you're gonna have the conversation and the dialogue with us or you're not. But if you want to choose to in this moment say, well, y'all got it, I don't want to do it, it's no point, then go ahead and bounce. Make
And
your
I
statement.
tell you what, Jeremy, I even do it like this while we're waiting for his decision. Let's give in 32 seconds. Here we go.
Hey, Jeremy, I've been talking with ChatGPT about the idea of pandering, right? And it gave me this little chart on my backdrop to spot a panderer. And I'm interested on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being most likely to pander, what our ratings would be.
You know what? You know what? Listen, I'm with it. I'm with
Let
it.
me see if I can. How can I send it to you?
Well, there's our time, ladies and gentlemen. 32
Um,
seconds has ended.
but,
I mean, you could. So my all of my links are in my bio. So if you want to just go there and add my IG, that's fine.
That's your IG.
But
Yeah, that's usually the easiest way to get to me.
Not your IG because you don't feel safe with Piki.
Too punny, too punny.
That's a good callback.
I mean,
That's a good
it
callback.
tracks, but but
Listen,
it tracks, but but
listen.
but the crazy thing with the pandering is it is we know it's just projection
Yeah,
because when you really look at the definition of pandering, they want the benefit from it. They're doing it. They think that we doing it because that's what they want to do. Like we call in, saying what men do and stuff like that. They view it as all right. That's what women want to hear, right? We calling out men, but they think that what we doing by just being honest and trying to deconstruct and trying to stop this from happening, they can't fathom we doing it because it's the right thing to do because they want to do it because they are the ones who want a personal benefit from it, which is pandering. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I will never.
absolutely.
I've lost count the number of times where I've been in a panel, and I'm addressing directly whatever, and the first thing that one of these men will say to me is, "Bro, she ain't gonna sleep with you."
Every time I was on a panel with you when somebody said that to you.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
like,
You know
y'all,
what we
y'all
are.
set yourselves up for failure, first of all, because you don't want to open up that conversation, right? Because then you are now opening up a space for them to actually express their thoughts. So if there are some women in the room who the answer to that question would be yes, you've now given them space to say it. So then it makes it even more just. I have seen this happen in real time where I sat there in the panel and the question to the room was, who do you feel more comfortable with, pick me or pick him? And the entire comment section was flooded with them choosing me, and he came off of mute and threw the biggest temper tantrum. Now, allegedly,
Not
according
you,
to him,
not you triangulating. Go ahead, Jeremy. I love it.
and I said
Triangulating
not
men
one
is
word.
my
I
favorite
said not
thing.
one word. That's the best part about it. I said not one word. I sat there. And the punchline is he came off of mute to say this, but according to him, he's a married man.
You know what we are, y'all. We the new bad boys. You know, they said that we the new bad boys, baby. The
Jer-
girls want the bad boys. That's who we are, baby. We those
Jeremy,
dudes. We the
you know why
niggas.
that
That,
happens, Jeremy. You know why
You're
all the women
stupid,
feel more
man.
safe with you
What's that?
because you're only a man, allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Yes.
bad boys. What you gonna do? What you
I
gonna do when they
cannot.
pander
Hey,
to you? Bad
Jeremy,
boys,
it ain't letting
bad
me send it
boys.
to you, man. It's saying, I don't know, maybe you gotta follow me back to be able to send you pictures.
What you gonna do when they pander to you?
Uh,
Say, hey,
uh, uh,
what
uh.
you gonna do when they pander to you? There you go.
Not y'all putting on shades, bro.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys,
Hold on.
what
Wait,
you gonna
wait.
do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you
Kitty
chuck it on
bumper
this one,
clock.
you chuck it on this one.
What?
I'm
And then
not
he
clowning
got
with
his
y'all
shades
like
on
this,
in his
man.
profile picture.
What? I cannot.
Yo, they will be like, let me tell you something. They in the hallways mad right now. Like, not all the panderers on a profile together having fun. Not
How
the
dare
panderers
you?
together.
Oh, Yellow. Yesterday they had to been pissed when Deontay and old boy was on live together. Like, and I
Yes.
think at one point the highest view count was like somewhere around 4, maybe 5,000. And the only thing I took from that was, fuck yeah. Like
Yo,
we're
somebody
getting
share
to
this
a
to
point now to
Beyonce.
where
Get Beyonce in here with all the intel.
I was
Somebody
like,
share her
yo, this
Beyonce.
is what's up. And I love that it was just them two. And it turned into just a genuine conversation, right? And I thought it was dope. I thought it was really dope. And I think what we're getting to is the point of people are exhausted with a lot of this dumb red pill shit, man. I think it flew across the sky a little bit too long anyway. But I think it's getting to and it should have been gotten there when we've seen the violence from this movement. Even TikTok is tired of it. The video I put up recently, right? And one of the hashtags I wanted to put red pill. When the video posted, I got an account message that said they're not going to include that hashtag. They took it off. Even
Can I,
TikTok is like, no, this shit is dangerous.
so that happened
so
over
here's
a
the
year
one.
ago, Jay. That's been over a year because I used to tag all
Really?
my videos hashtag red pill because I used to be trying to get the apps to be crashing out in my comments. Because when they do that, they boost engagement and then my videos go further. But don't mind me. Don't mind me.
So in
When
the comments, Sin is right. She said the damage has already been done, and she's right. Is because and the reason why it's been done is because when I hear a young brother between the ages of like 20 and 23 who say I used to be red pill, it's like what the hell do you mean you used to be? And it made me look deeper into it. This content is getting to boys between the ages of 13 and 16. It's
Mhm.
getting to them extremely early.
For that.
So
You know why,
even
right? You know
what's
why?
that?
So because I actually interviewed a 19-year-old, 19-year-old.
You next,
It
man.
was just me and him in the middle of the night, and he said, "I used to be red pill." I was like, "Same thing, used to be." I said, "How did you even end up on red pill content when you were 12 years old?" He said, "I googled how to get a girl, how to
Damn
talk.
it.
I googled how to talk to girls."
Damn it. And but see, and before Boss Lady get in, you know what? The reason why I know that's working, there's a lady by the name of Teal Swan, Teal, last name Swan, Swan. On the surface, if you've ever come across her content, it looks like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. This is cool. This is inspiring. That lady runs a cult, and she's been running a cult for a long time. The reason why this is important is because the content that she puts out around the beginning of like Google becoming what is being used for now as the search engine is being used for. If you were depressed, if you were anxious, if you had ideas of taking yourself off this planet, depending on what you searched on Google, you got her content first. And that's how she built her cult. So the people who are using, who are making red pill content, they're finding a way to be at the top of the search engines for this. And if you get somebody between the ages of 13 and 16, they're not going to scroll down that whole first page. They damn sure ain't going to the second page. The very first ones are this manosphere, red pill, incel bullshit. It's to the point now where even the Wall Street Journal, what was that, last year or the year before last, came out telling men that, hey, going to some of these countries, you're not getting back home because we know what y'all are going over there doing, and those countries are tired of it. They're either going to take all your money and leave you stranded, or nobody will ever see you again. So look, even if I say this and I go on mute, even if it is just pandering, because I go far enough to say this person as an example, Derek Jackson wasn't lying about a lot of the shit that he was saying. He just happened to be the person that he was talking about.
That part.
So it is not that the plate wasn't full. It's just that he knew what was on the plate because he was the one making it. Like, even if it is just pandering, what I'm hoping is for the same people who say, yeah, I get some positive stuff from red pill content, I don't take all of it in. Okay, cool. Even if this is just pandering, I hope that you take enough positive, enough healing aspects of this to build on yourself, and we can continue working out the rest of the kinks, because we are by no means even at the beginning of this. We haven't even started making that much of a change yet and reversing all of the harm. So if it is pandering, I don't care.
Boss lady.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Hey Stink. So real quick, firstly, so far as TikTok actually filtering out the red pill stuff, is because they had a new update as to where they're trying to get rid of people, or content where people are rage baiting. So that's why that's actually happening.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's that.
I'm in trouble.
I, I don't I don't know how effective that's supposed to be, or if people found workarounds, but that's what the update was about. They're trying to filter out rage bait. Um Secondly, the whole thing about um these men who will actually say stop pandering to these women because they're not going to sleep with you. Let me be the first woman to actually say yes, we will. Immediately, we will. Immediately. If there's a comparison where I'm going to put the pandering man versus the red pill man, I'm immediately going to run to this panderer because I feel better, safer in your arms. I feel better cared for. I feel you're going to listen to me. You're going to have some concern over me. That's why we're going to run. So to use that quote unquote tagline, oh, she not finna sleep. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And you know what? If they were moving like that for real, we probably just give you some head on some GP. It's like, you know what? You look like you had a bad day. Would you like some head? Like, no, that
Be on somebody
no,
backdrop. All of us about to be on somebody backdrop.
hey, they clipping the hell out of that one now.
I'm just letting y'all know right now. We about to be on the red pill watch list. I'm telling you right now.
I'm being honest, and this is just coming from a woman who, like, listen, I understand what it is to be properly cared for, and I understand what it looks like to be manipulated. So when you have all of these games and you want to try to finesse, or you just want to, you're divulging into this red pill stuff, it's not working, bookies. It's not working. For every red pill spokesperson, all of them have crumbled. All of them. All of them. Kevin Samuels, he rest in peace. Okay. Andrew Tate, he got locked up. What's Fresh and Fit, the dude is what's his name, Myron, he's getting old, and still
Yeah, and
for
they
him
got
to be
demonetized too.
they got demonetized, and for him to be preaching old, traditionalists, and you're supposed to be in a nuclear family, all this kind of stuff, blah blah blah. This man ain't got a wife in the first, and he spends all of his money on OF models.
That's true.
So what are we doing? Are these really your real examples? Are these the men y'all actually go for? Because for y'all to actually pitch the, oh, I'm a leader, how, Sway? When y'all chasing behind or running behind these men who will set you up for your dick to be forever dry. Forever. Forever, ever, amen. I don't understand the concept of, I'm going to mistreat you, but I want the most out of you. I'm going to mistreat you, but I want you to be so involved into me. How exactly do you expect that to work? Let's be honest. Calling men who actually care for their women, who actually show appreciation and love for their women, those are the ones who will forever get our love. Outside of that, y'all can get left. And that's my time, y'all. Thanks, y'all, for coming to my TED Talk.
So
Greatly
let me
appreciate y'all.
let me say this. I'm gonna step outside. I'm gonna still be here. I just gotta step outside to grab something. And which, by the way, look, I gotta holler at my neighbor, man. We two grown men, bro. Why are you scared to talk to me? So it's something about a parking spot. I don't know. He felt the need to tell my sister something that he wanted to tell me. Tell me, man. Come on, cut it out. Um,
Hey, if you
hopefully he's
fighting,
out
put
there
it
when
on
I go
camera
out
so I
there.
can watch.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I'm not that confrontational person, man. Come holler at me, bro. Two grown ass men. And I hope he's out there when I go out there. But no, what I wanted to say is this, because Dex mentioned it earlier, and Dex and I, and all of us, we've been talking about the definition of words. And I want to iterate again. I do think it's absolutely important, whether I'm talking about the etymology and all of that stuff. I'll just go back through pandering again, just the definition. An act of catering to or indulging someone's desires, opinions, or prejudice in an excessive or insincere way, often for personal gain. The reason why I bring that up is when I am hit with that word, I ask men to define it, and they can never define it. But when I give them the definition, I ask them in the moment, what do you think, in your opinion, what did I say that was excessive? What do you believe I said that is insincere? And also, what personal gain do you think I'm trying to make here? And that's the last one is the biggest one, because I'm like, do you think I make money from this app? But also, I have a lady and whom I don't know how much more I can express to y'all. I've been with this lady since 2009. I still got a crush on her. I'm not trying to get with nobody. I'm not in nobody inboxes, and they're not in my inboxes on that energy, because they know how much I anywhere I go, when the conversation comes up, it is known how much I love this woman, how much I admire this woman, how much I like this woman. I'm not saying any of this for any personal gain in turn of that, in terms of that arena. And Dex was right. It's projection. Because you believe it's pandering because you think it's fake nice. You think it's fake being kind. You think it's lies. And the reason why you believe that is because you know that you have to lie, that you have to be fake nice, that you have to be fake kind to even get the right phone number. That's something that you are struggling with, that you haven't come to terms with. Over here, look, man, I'm married up. I don't know what to tell you, bro. So it's a lot of the brother, and you can tell, honestly, you can tell the ones who are having these conversations who actually know what they're talking about because they've listened and they've researched. Or you can tell the ones who are just saying it because they need the attention. And even the ones who are saying it who needs the attention, they're going to pull in more people who actually know more than them, and we can get more out of it.
I agree. So, real quick, the real, if you're still in the room, because I notice you do that a lot in the comment sections, and instead of actually having the conversation, the whole point is for us to talk, right? They don't necessarily have to stay in these boxes. If you want to talk to the men, come talk to the men. But sitting in the comment section yapping, not gonna work.
I'll
Let's have a
drop.
conversation.
I'll drop because I got things to do, but I'll drop to give him space. Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all. Okay, love you. Bye.
Thank you. So yeah, request up. Jazz Doll. Feel free to share your thoughts.
Okay, so first off, hey everybody. Hey Pinky. Hey Navi.
What's
Hey
up,
Yellow.
Jazz?
How you doing?
Okay, so for me, understand the whole pandering thing. If you are a man and you are speaking up for women, that's a natural thing to do. And I think what is happening is there's a boys club. And in that boys club, you're not supposed to go against the rules in the boys club. And so I believe, like, when I first heard about Derek Jackson, I was believing all the stuff that he was saying. And then I realized, once everything came out that was actually pandering to women. And I looked at his aesthetic. Okay, he's muscular. He has that aesthetic going for him. He's tall, dark, and handsome. That whole thing going for himself, and it works for him. But then you got this dude in the backdrop who's not that aesthetically pleasing. But when you listen to him, you can tell it's coming from an authentic place, right? And so I kind of fear, the what's going to happen in the future, because if young boys are listening to this, especially young black boys are listening to this, ultimately the next generation is going to just end up rainbow. And nothing is wrong with being rainbow. Let's be clear. If we want to keep our race going, all this red pill move is make black men hate black women, and then that gender war is going to be even more diabolical than what it is already. And I don't like it at all, because basically red pill is basically telling men, if you are awkward, it's okay, it's her fault. If you have no social skills, it's okay, it's her fault. If you don't know how to approach a woman, it's okay, it's her fault. If you don't have a job, it's okay, it's her fault. If you're a virgin and don't know how to have, any type of masculinity, it's okay, it's her fault. And they're buying into it. And that's where the problem is lying, because they are turning us into women into punching bags, and they're putting so much anger and aggression in these young boys' heart, to where when they get older, they're gonna lash out. And just last year there was a black dude in St. Louis who was unaliving a bunch of black women, just because. I don't know why they make national news like this, but it was, if you look it up, it was in St. Louis. And that kind of scared me, because it's like, what are y'all teaching the dudes, and how are y'all okay with this? Because when men aren't pandering, especially in our community, when black men aren't pandering to each other, they're unaliving each other. So there's not even a real camaraderie there. That's not even there's no real bond there. And the only thing that got them bonding is their hatred for black women. And that scares me even more. I land there.
Quick modding duty, you guys. We got over 100 people in here, but we didn't even get 50,000 likes yet. And I see a lot of the people that are in here are family. The family's in here. Hey, family. So, family, y'all know what we need to do when we come to these lives. You got to tap the screen. You got to send your daily heart me's. You got to share out the lives. We know what we do. We know what we do. If it's in you to hit the live goal, hit the live goal. But bare minimum, we need to be tapping the screen. We should be getting Jeremy past 50,000 already. So let's do that, and let's share out the lives. Well, we got 105 shares. Let's get it to 150. Let's see if we could do that together to get it to 150 shares. And let's get us over 50,000 likes. And get them heart me's
I
going.
think there's some toys too. No thanks. Can you get me? Yeah, there's one here if you want it. Well, can I have
They
some
may not know
now?
they're up here.
Oh, you got the babies with you? That's a man?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was just saying they may not know they're up here.
Evolving, when your background is clear, then we'll get you into the conversation. But we're gonna keep you on mute till then.
My apologies. I withdrew my request and it still brought me up.
Okay, well, I mean, you're free to drop.
Why you would draw your damn?
No, I ain't gonna hold them up here. You know, if we would.
Neighbor wasn't
So this
outside,
little
by the way. That
man, you can't
sucks.
even put your dukes up. So this little how to spot a pandering versus genuine content. It's let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 3x7 chart. The first category.
No. Phone call?
Run it back, Peaky. We lost you.
I said it's a 3 column, 7 row chart. The first column says sign, the second column says pandering, the third column says genuine content. So then in the first row it says motivation. Essentially, a panderer makes content to get likes, views, and go viral, while genuine content comes from personal beliefs or authentic interest. The second row is timing. So essentially, us panderers, we only appear when there's a trend or a hot topic, and our rhetoric towards the betterment of men. The third row is let's hashtag go. I think hashtag didn't call me a panderer before.
So, hashtag. Can you I guess I should
How you guys doing?
restart in the background. Hello?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I had to fix my Bluetooth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking if you could share your thoughts about the questions I have.
I don't know what's going on. Damn it, man. Come on. Block. Whoever that is.
Yours sounding kind of low too, Jeremy. There was some background, but
Sorry, fellas. I couldn't hear you though for 1 second.
Yeah, I
Now
was
go ahead.
asking if you could share your thoughts about the questions I have posted.
Okay, let's see. What is a panderer, or what is pandering? Pandering is creating the illusion of safety for access and control. Let's see. Why do we so often think men are doing it? I think we think men are doing it because a lot of men do it. A lot of men don't have confidence or aren't confident enough to be genuine, to state their standard, or to say this is how I treat myself, or to state their boundaries. You cannot cross these. You cannot violate me. You cannot do these things. So I think a lot of men are used to appeasing people, not just women, but people. What should
So before
what
we get
should
into
be
the third
highlighted?
question, hold on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Before we get into the third question, I just want to get some clarification. How do you know that all of these men are pandering? Like, what is the indicator that makes it clear all of them are pandering and this is not really how they feel or what they believe?
A telltale sign for me is amorality, or I'll even say it differently this time. A telltale sign for me is never actually standing on things, just agreeing. They don't have any, typically they don't have any original ideas. So, yeah, it's typically like there's no original ideas, and they don't appeal to sort of like a communal idea or anything like that. What they appeal to is what makes me happy is the right thing to do. And then when you test the logic will tell you that they don't agree when it's over there, but they agree when it's right here. As long as it benefits them, it's a good idea.
I would love to know how he's quantifying that. That seems like a bit of projection, respectfully.
Right, because that like it was it was something without actually having anything. It was because the communal part. You said that they don't connect with the communal thought process, but wouldn't that mean that they would just be agreeing with the majority?
No, not necessarily. It's just it's like they don't really stand on anything.
How do you know?
They're just willing to stand on whatever's beneficial. So let's just say a pretty girl walks by, and whatever she says, he's with it. You know.
What?
But then, yeah, like whatever she says, he's with it. But when you ask him the same question in another stance, then suddenly he's not with it. Like it only makes sense when it benefits him.
Okay, what would be one of those things that he would have said if she just walked by? Because why is he just having conversation with a random woman that walked by in the first place? Like,
Not
what would
literally.
be one of those situations?
Not literally. I just said walk by as like a pass on thing, but not literally. So like let's just I meant walk by like, you know, like interacting with the woman. Like let's just say they're anywhere. They could be in a doctor's office, they could be in a gym, they could be anywhere. And whatever she says, in order to appease her, he's going to be agreeable. He'll just be agreeable to be agreeable. But then when you ask him,
So he just walked up to her and said, "Whatever you say, yes, I agree with you." Randomly in the gym.
Too literal. No. I think you're too literal.
I'm asking you to give clear-cut examples. You said the gym and the doctor's office, and I don't know why I'm randomly talking to women in the doctor's office that I don't know.
Okay, let's slow down a little bit, okay? All right, so here we go. Two guys are in the gym. A woman's also in the gym. And she says something, maybe there's some guy in there, he's being like a gawk, like a you know, the guys that like yell in the gym and stuff like that. Let's just say that that's the scenario, okay? We're in the gym and a guy's yelling and she's like, that guy is just so obnoxious and he's trying to prove something or whatever. And the guy that she's posing this to, or the two guys that she's posing it to, could know the guy and know that the guy is actually, this is who he is all the time. It's not him being a weird way. It's just, this is who he is. But for the sake of him keeping her or making her feel safe or appeasing her, he will just agree to agree so that he can create the illusion of safety so that he can
okay, so I'm gonna just say this real
access
quick.
her.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting example because I don't know a single gym that I've ever been to, and I've been to plenty. You know, some of the smaller gyms, the LA Fitness, the Planet Fitness, Golds, been to all of them gyms. At no point is yelling something that the staff is okay with. Like if you over there just like I don't know any gym that's gonna be okay with that. Number one. Number two.
Are you fixated on the scenario or are you fixated on the point?
I get.
So the point
Jeremy, let me try. Let me try if it's okay.
Regardless of the scenario, yeah.
Hold on a second. Can you hold on a second?
Sure.
Because you put this out there. I'm not fixated on it. I'm addressing what you said because what you said made no sense. You decided that you wanted to give examples.
Are you fixated on the scenario or are you fixated on the point?
Okay,
so
can you stop
regardless
talking?
Of the scenario.
No. Can you stop talking? Because this is not fixation. This is me addressing it. When you say something, I address it. That's not fixation. See, we didn't have to have this conversation. We could have stayed on this, but instead you chose to do that. We could have actually talked about what this really is. But your point about somebody saying something in the gym to a random woman because he wants to appease to her is the example you gave. And so now we're addressing it. That's how that works. If you didn't want us to talk about it, you shouldn't have brought up the gym. So I'm pointing out the things that are inconsistent and don't make sense. Number one,
okay. Would you like a better scenario?
Listen, if you don't like it,
would you like a better scenario? Because you're missing the point. The point is that he's just there.
I know what the point is. I know what the point is. I need you to stop for a second, right? The point is that this man over here just said yes to this random woman because he wants to appease to her because woman. That was the point. Not because there's actually a problem with yelling in the gym randomly. Hold on. Because I'm actually saying it to you right now. And I don't think if you disagree with me, then essentially you're disagreeing with yourself. Because right now I'm actually sharing with you your point that you brought up when you brought up the scenario. You decided that he decided that he actually wants to say all of this stuff because, she's a woman and, whatever, right? That was the point. He's just appeasing her because woman. So, not to address the fact that yelling in the gym is weird, no matter who it is, not addressing the fact that this random woman is just going up to two men and just having a conversation with them out of nowhere, even though she doesn't know if she's safe around these men. Not addressing the fact that, all right, integrity, I got you. Thanks for coming. But these are things that don't actually make sense with the scenario you provided. And you have an issue with us now unpacking that. Jay, floor is yours. Jay, you still here?
Yes. It's me. Oh, I thought you talking to someone else. I'm sorry. All right.
Jay.
Yeah, man. Regardless of the
Jay.
scenario. Now, I mean, I
Jay.
only said the gym because I just came from the
Jay.
gym. Okay.
And look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop and come up on my other device because this one the battery is going down. I just want, if you can, hashtag. God damn it! Do we need to add it? Go ahead, add the other number. God damn it, because look, here's the
Jay,
thing.
5 times.
Yeah,
Okay,
and look,
I guess I gotta go because I didn't know that Jay rhymes with hashtag.
here's the thing. Here's the other thing about that example. I don't care if that's your homie and you know your homie to be weird for whatever reason and yelling. If it made the lady feel uncomfortable when she said she was uncomfortable, what's wrong with saying, "Hey, bro, can you chill?" Like you're making people feel uncomfortable. That's pandering. So I'm supposed to let my homie be a caveman for caveman purposes, I guess, and not hold him. What? All right, okay. Look, I don't know why it's okay. I get it now. I get it. It just came to me. It just came to me because I spoke about the reading comprehension and just comprehension period, just of the general American, but of men also. A lot of us have to sort of put a box of an example for us to understand it. Like we need the board to put the blocks in the right shapes and stuff. We can't rely simply on speaking and opening up the nuance that way, defining the words that we're actually using, addressing the prompt specifically and sticking within that prompt. We get uncomfortable with what the prompt is because it's likely talking about us. And I can't understand why all these strangers see me now, even though they don't know me. You can't stay there. No, I need to pull out this weird example that never happened to me or anybody else that I know. But it makes sense to me. And if it don't make sense to you, then there's something wrong with you. I I'm gonna recommend a book when I come back up. I'm gonna let somebody else get in. I'm gonna recommend a book when I come back up. I'm gonna drop and I'm coming right back up. I just got to go on this other device.
But yeah, I want to say one thing because I had to go grab something to eat. I'm getting hungry.
No,
But
it's all good.
this is why I'm a stickler when it comes to clocking men and misusing words, rationalizing contradictions. Because you see, rationalizing contradictions, that is one of the biggest things that we need to deconstruct in order to stop being harmful. And you know what I mean? Because to him, his example and what he was saying made perfect sense and it should be studied because it's a direct contradiction. Like how fluent we would misuse things is that also a direct contradiction. And we are so we cuddle each other so much with it because we would say like, you know, well, I understand what he's saying. Yeah, no, Navi is still. But we cuddle each other so much because we'll just, you know, say like, well, I understand what he's saying, but not actually correct him. Like, you know what I mean? Because and that is the issue. We To be a man really to me, when I, you know, look listening to men first and foremost, right? And looking back through history and stuff like that. To be a man is to be mediocre, is to be confidently stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Is to be harmful, is to be uneducated. Like, you know what I mean? Like is to have no drive to actually be a better person in society. And that's why I start off with the mindset and like with simple things like words and how we talk and like how we look at things, how we view things, like clocking these things, because those are the things that cause us to do harm and rationalize it because of rationalizing contradictions. I could do this and then pretend that it's not harmful. It's a contradiction. You know what I mean? Those are the things that drive a lot of men to do these things and think they're good people at the same time. Like, I'm a good man, but I do all this harmful shit. I say stupid shit all the goddamn time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I misuse words and want people to just cuddle me and just be like, well, don't be mean to me and say that I'm wrong. Like, you just make an adjustment. Let's, you know what I mean? Just leave me in my stupidity, but praise me at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? And those are the things, that's why I don't give men grace when it comes to that, because that has always been our downfall throughout history. Is that coddling of stupidity, that coddling of mediocrity. We put ourselves in a situation of leadership and I had no clue what the fuck it is. Sorry for cussing, but I have no idea what it is. You know what I mean? Because we didn't do any work to get it. We didn't do any work for people to trust us. You understand what I'm saying? Like nothing at all, but we are so smart. We leaders. And then while doing that, we took away women, we kept women behind and think that we are the better ones, right? At the same time, which is also a goddamn contradiction. You know what I mean? Because so we pander to we men pander is the true panderers to other men. And that we had I don't that's why I don't play word games with them. I stick to what it means and how it actually plays out in society. But let me go grab something to eat. I'll be back if I see you guys on. Navi, Rob, Jay, Yellow.
All right, Dex. Don't let the field whites get on your nerves. Stay away from the field whites. We do not treat with field whites.
Right.
Only the house whites. Only the house whites. Not the field whites.
Right. I'm gonna keep that in mind. All right, later.
All right, so Alex, how old are you? Alex, can we get your age? Okay. Anyway, Rob,
You're.
welcome.
Say
Feel
that
free to
again.
chime in, add to the conversation, or speak to these questions that are in my background. Share your thoughts.
What is pandering? Honestly, I didn't hear pandering until this year because apparently I'm a panderer. Just because I like to speak up and actually, speak up in defense of women and actually try and get men to understand that we do need to change. But apparently that's pandering. So if that's it, then I guess I'm a panderer. Um, discuss improvement amongst ourselves. Mainly just when it comes down to the last one, what should be highlighted when men discuss improvement amongst ourselves, we need to teach men to be more empathetic, more understanding, and basically, in other senses, put themselves in other people's shoes before they actually speak and actually try and listen to understand what people are saying instead of just listening to respond like some people do. And that's what I'm gonna stick at. It's crazy how one of us can sit here and basically, like I said, speak in defense of women, speak in basically telling men to, hey, you need to do better, and we're called simps and panderers, which to me doesn't make sense. I'm trying to tell you, hey, be a better person, and yet I'm being demonized for it. So I'll never understand it.
How men need to be a better person, Rob? You said, uh, you said men need to be a better person.
Yes.
Men need to be better people.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Absolutely. And we've been socialized into being there, what we are now. Hey, that's is one of the reasons why there was a guy told me I was attacking men or attacking masculinity because I said we need to start deconstructing it. And the thing that I said to him is something that I've said in multiple places actually. If you define yourself as a man by what society has told you a man is supposed to be, I need you to be prepared to change that again in like the next 15 to 20 years. And the reason why is because what we view as masculine today, what we view as masculinity today, it has changed over time consistently. The things that we do today, even the things that we wear, wigs were made for men, makeup made for men, purses made for men. And even then, understanding patriarchy and understanding intersectionality, they weren't made for all men then. So it's a lot of this understanding takes a deep level of work. And the unfortunate part for too many of us as men, the work that we do, we need instant gratification for. And if you don't see yourself enough to give yourself that gratification for learning this new thing, for the deconstructing this thing that you've already always believed, there's no amount of me saying it or anybody else saying it that's gonna get through to you with that. I often, always recommend therapy as a start. And understand just a start because not even one session or a session every other week or every month or so is going to do. This is work that never ends. I understand that even the things that I understand now is not enough and that it's going to continue and it has to continue. You have to update this. The book I wanted to recommend quickly because we got somebody new up here is the one that I promise you I'm almost done with. And it's not a long read, actually. It's Bell Hooks, The Will to Change. It's on men, masculinity, and love. The things that she talks about in this book is she talks about just what I was just saying, how patriarchy hurts us. It talks about the emotional lives of men. She speaks about how love as a revolutionary act, basically, where she believed men must unlearn patriarchal thinking to open ourselves up to actual, real, healthy, transformative love. She talks about the need for accountability and that. So again, that book is Bell Hooks, The Will to Change. Highly recommend. It is not a long read. And according to science recently, listening to audiobooks does the same thing in the brain that actual reading does. So if you don't have the time to actually sit with a book in your hands that way or with a Kindle, you do the audiobook too, man. It's good.
I think these boys need to start with something a little more simpler, like of mice and men. You know what I'm saying? Lord of the Flies, Johnny and Appleseed.
Mm.
Uh,
Lord of the Flies
So
is amazing, but you really got to have a deeper thinking of that. Lord of the Flies is not surface. It's incredibly, incredibly deep. That is a great place to start if you want to really know what's going on.
story. So Professor and Jazz, I'm gonna have y'all chime in before we start wrapping it up because unfortunately I still have responsibilities. Um, but Etnom, I would definitely like for you to come back to have the real conversation. It was a joke. Okay, well then I don't want you to come back because you thought that Diddy would somehow be a good joke to make in this space during this conversation. So never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the door. Professor and Jazz. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen. I'm not sure who was here first.
Please, Jazz. Ladies first, my love.
Thank you. Hello, everybody to the panel. I see a lot of my mutuals in here. So, collectively, hope y'all had a good day. Um, I wanted to say, first of all, the guy that was up here, Docs, I think that's what it was, Dex or Docs. Was it Dex or Docs, the Jamaican guy?
Dex.
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 Dex. Dang, I need to change my contact prescription ASAP. Um, I really appreciate what he said because it was one of the most in-depth explanations of his experience that confirms that we as women are not crazy. That was very satisfying to hear him say. Everything that, we witness that's ignored or overlooked, or, we're gaslit into thinking that we're just being harsh and judging. Him even mentioning that, it's viewed as us being mean just by being direct about what we see in someone's behavior and their character. And that, clearly, I mean, other men see it, they just choose not to say anything. So we look like the problem. I really appreciate him saying what he said. I really do. And Jay is always spitting, and Piki is always asking the important questions. I really appreciate Jay mentioning, you know, I think the approach that he said that he would take in that scenario that was given about the gym. Me personally, as a woman, I wouldn't give a shit. I'm good at ignoring people when I'm out and about. I'm a mom. I'm good at tuning people out. It's a gift at this point. But I know that some people do feel threatened by certain behaviors in their environment, and I would personally just leave. It's sad that I can't even and I'm sure other women. It's sad that I can't even and I'm sure other women feel depend on men to defend me at this point. I almost expect men to ignore behaviors that they know are problematic from other men. I almost expect men to, you know, downplay how I feel about anything. Um, I expect men to amplify my expression of how I feel and redirect it and twist it into, oh, she's just being angry, as opposed to focusing on what's causing me to feel how I feel. And this nonstop uh, flipping the script is what women have almost become numb to. So I appreciate that, there are men that have learned through life, and um and I don't know any of you personally. I haven't met any of you in person. I don't know any of you in life, but I am assuming that it didn't take you having children of your own, daughters of your own, a wife, to start to realize how harmful other men are. And for the ones that did have to wait until they had another little girl in their life that they cherish more than the average woman, I kind of feel like shame on you, but it is what it is. I get it, I guess. Um, in that aspect, I kind of look at it as some people that don't have children don't really understand the sacrifice that it takes and what it's like to care about somebody more than yourself until you do have children. Before I had children, I didn't understand why people would rather stay in to hang out with their kids as opposed to just go out for a night. I get it now. I definitely get it now, but I didn't understand it then. So, and I guess that's how I'm choosing to see it when it comes to men that kind of learn later in life that this shit is real. Women are humans. Women are people. Women have feelings, whether they're related to you and you know them personally or not. And unfortunately, men that speak out and say that out loud, they are considered panderers. They're considered simps, and men project and claim that these men are just siding with women, quote unquote, taking women's sides for box, which is crazy. As if, even in that mindset, just like Dex said, it's almost like they're convinced that they can never be wrong. So it just can't be that a man is siding with a woman because you're the one that's wrong. But anyway, it's arrogance, damn near inherent narcissism at this point. And I just hope that I see the world waking up. I see more men practicing emotional intelligence, and I just hope that it continues, because the next generation of boys, the ones that's growing up with my daughter, who's now 7 years old, about to be 8, y'all are raising these boys. And at this point, I it's sad, and to some people, they might not like what I'm about to say, but at this point, I hope that my daughter don't even like boys when she get older. At this point, I'm hoping she a stone cold Dizike, because the fuck, at this point, her odds of living would be higher. Her odds of not being left as a mother of a child would be higher. I mean, her odds of not being left as a single mother would be higher. The odds of her not being, like, I mean, the little DV statistics are finicky, whatever. But it just seems like her likelihood of having a better life would be better if she ends up not being into men. As sad as that sounds, but it's the truth. So until things just collectively change, like, that's just how I'm gonna feel. At this shit, I wish I didn't like men. I say this all the time, and I mean that. I mean that shit. I wish I liked women, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'm gonna land my plane. I appreciate all the men that came out and said what they said. Keep making the world great.
Okay, so real quick, Sin, I know that y'all are still trying to figure out what's what, so that was jazzing up. You've been doing a lot of yapping in my comment section. I invited you to come up here earlier to talk, and instead of doing that, you still want to do this in the comment section. I'm gonna say two things, and then we're gonna go to Professor. You said take this conversation to Congress. I don't think the Congress is having a conversation about pandering. So I don't know what you expected from that, because Congress don't give a damn about that. And secondly, and please don't call me young sir. That's just weird. I'm a grown ass man. Please don't call me young sir. Secondly, you said debating on TikTok is not moving us forward. Then can you explain to me why you felt the need to debate any of what's been said in my comment section? This is a discussion. This is a conversation. And we don't just leave this on TikTok and walk away. Everything that is discussed here, the people that have been here listening and participating, the 101 people that are in this room, the people that have joined this panel today, they actually take what they hear and what they have shared, and they apply it to their lives and navigate accordingly. That's what happens when we do these discussions. But you chose to be in the comment section being whatever you're being. That is what's not going to move you forward. And what's going to happen is you're going to hear more and more people have the kind of energy that Jazz has right now to stay away from people like you.
So, Jeremy, just quick before Professor goes, I'll tell you like this. When it's done, and it's done well, it's done thoroughly, debating on TikTok can actually move society in a progressive way.
Yes, when they're
It's
real
more than
debates.
just it's more than just internet noise. It's a
Yeah.
form of grassroots philosophy. It allows civic dialogue and cultural shifts, if you want to be honest. It reflects, honestly, a new public discourse that is shaped by things like accessibility, creativity, and collective questioning. And also, the last point, because Jeremy, I'm with you. Pandering, this topic, this one specifically, Congress isn't talking about. But you know what they have noticed? They've noticed how many of us as black men don't like black women. And you want to know how I noticed that? What does a random Republican congresswoman from Florida has to do with a Canadian rapper who was found guilty by the state of California? For the most part, not a damn thing. But she is spending her time, taxpayers' time, trying to find a way to show us that this man is innocent for some weird ass reason. And you know what that weird ass reason is? Conservatives have seen how much black men are leaning into their talking points within the last 10 years or so. They've seen how many black men now are voting for Republican. It's a small number, but it's a number that's been moving up. And instead of resting on that, like any good strategist, let's look at what the internet is talking about. And what are black men talking about? Free Tory. That lady in whom he used that projectile weapon on was a lady who also just so happened to perform at the at VP Harris, one of VP
Sure
Harris'
did. Sure
events.
did at one of her rallies.
So is and understanding the current administration we in, knowing how petty and dumb that administration is, these people are paying attention. They didn't give a damn about any of our conversations before, but they see how many of us as black men don't like black women and say, you know what? Yeah, I don't listen to that dude. I don't even really know who he is. But I know if I start talking about him, I can pour more black men on this side. And the next time they vote, they're going to remember that we were on the side of Tory Lanez.
That is
So
true.
if you think you're making a point, I advise you sit with it, like you said, while you're at work, and just so happen to have enough time to text this often in the comment section. Allow the nuance that's necessary.
You know, I just would like to see more actual debates because it's been proven in TikTok that a lot of people don't know what a debate actually is. They just yell over each other, say a bunch of nuh-uhs and all of that, but they don't know how real debates work. If we were following the rules, and I know that there's a lot of debate people in this room, I already know for a fact that a lot of y'all were on the debate team in high school, college, you're probably professional at this. I'm pretty sure that there's some in this room. Y'all know that a lot of these people, if we were to follow the rules of formal debates, a lot of them would lose within the first 2 minutes.
Super.
Professor, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Socks. Hey, Jeremy, honey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, you know how it is, hanging out. So anyway, men are afraid of other men. End of story, end of conversation. Y'all are so afraid. Seriously. Y'all are petrified of other men. That's why you can't stand up to other men. That's why, listen, women are godly creatures. We create souls inside of us. Okay? Now, of course, a man that is not a godly creature like that is going to start hating something that's so humble. Women are humble, beautiful, without even trying, sweet, kind, generous. We give you the shirts off our backs. And this is what you do to us? You say that being nice to us is pandering? And as Jay already gave y'all, it's not pandering. It's just called just appreciation and love. It's okay to love something that gave the entire world life. You're welcome. It's okay. I'm a black woman. I started the universe. All black women did. And if you think saying that to another black woman, queen, is pandering, just say you don't like women. And that's okay. We'll stay away from you. As we have clocked the male loneliness epidemic. You told us to take accountability, and we did by leaving y'all alone. See how this all works? I hope we end up being like Korea and Japan and China, to where there's a whole generation of people not even having kids. 5 kids in a classroom. Oh, I can't wait. It's really what it boils down to. And what that gentleman was talking about at the gym and all that nonsense, he was talking about manipulation, kids. He was talking about manipulation. What he was describing is called manipulation. It's not called pandering. It's called manipulation. Pandering is when it's not what this is. But what he was speaking of was pure manipulation. Men pander to, oh, here we go. All of the Trumpies have pandered to Trump. There we go. Did I do that right, Jeremy? Okay, great. I'm Professor Socks. It is what it is.
She's not lying. We told women forever, choose better, choose better, choose better. And as soon as women start choosing better, bam, lonely man epidemic. But wait, and to show you it's not just a lonely man epidemic that way. Are not only is the pregnancy rate lower than it's ever been, but people are having less meds than ever before too. You you made society a revolving door of choose better, choose better, choose better. And when the women stepped outside that revolving door, you're like, wait, come on, you got to spin with us a little bit more. What are you doing? Also, to that message though, brothers, how many more times we gonna say choose better before we turn around at all the men behind us and be like, damn, bro, why is there so many bad choices?
But that's the thing, Jay. They've convinced us that it's not that it's a bunch of bad choices. They've convinced us that we isolate ourselves and just cover our eyes and point in the crowd and go eeny meeny miny mo. I pick the shittiest one of you all and go for that one. Like that's what they've tried. That is the rhetoric that we are seeking out the worst of the worst, the bottom of the barrel. And we all of the women globally, brought up from all different backgrounds, all different economic statuses, whether they're from a two-parent home or a one-parent home, whether she has a PhD or a high school degree or a GED, we all just have the same taste in men. I don't think they understand how statistics and probabilities work.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up for the day. I'm gonna say something real quick to Malcolm because this is something that I get a lot. And the last time that this happened, somebody was in the panel and said it directly to me. So you wanted to say it in the comment section to derail while y'all cyber slurp each other in the comment section. Here's the thing: you said online we're not gonna talk about the happy stories. Let me ask you this: think about it. Let this register in your brain. If we are all aware that there's an issue where there are a lot of people that are actually unhappy, that are unsafe, that are harmful, dangerous, all of these things are happening. We're aware that this is very much a problem. And it's at a rising number that more and more men are doing this. But we said, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to spend the next, how long have we been in here? The next 4 hours talking about all the happy stories. We're not even going to mention the negative stuff. We're just going to talk about the happy stories. Who did we help? I don't actually want you to answer that question. I want you to think about that. Who did we help? Y'all do that way too much where you will insert yourself. Because here's the punchline is you don't have to be here. If this doesn't apply to you, you didn't have to be here. You chose to be here. You chose to sit up under the sound of my voice and listen to me talk about the things that make you uncomfortable. Listen to the panel say things that make you uncomfortable. You chose to sit in that for an extended period of time. You could have taken the lesson from the other three that were up here and dipped anytime. I didn't kick them. All three of them ran. And you could have too. You just joined for real? Are you sure? Are you sure? You just joined?
You don't have to lie about that, bro. We got the comment section.
I love how
And we
he's
also have
trying
the
to direct his
viewers.
anger toward me, and a man is talking to him. No, baby, would put on your big boy pants and talk to the other man. Don't come and try to talk to me because I'll eat you the fuck up. I got double chins for a reason, baby.
Like you said, Professor,
Oh, I
men
see
are
that your
afraid of
comments have
other
been
men.
going for quite some time. So I think that was actually a lot, good sir.
It very much is. I've seen that man in the viewers since we've been in here. But like Professor said at the very beginning, men are afraid of other men. Of course, he ain't gonna have that energy for me or Jeremy, Rob, Navi, Piki. He's not gonna do that. That's
They
no
almost never
men.
do.
No,
Because
They
they
men.
live they
bitches. I'm
live to come
sorry.
here. They live to come here and argue with women. That's the only
Also,
way
I'm
they
gonna
feel
say,
powerful, by trying to bully women online.
I'm gonna say, when this live end and y'all see what Navi just posted, Navi is a menace, man.
You say I'm wrapping up. He been sitting here this whole time, and I multiple times This was for the men folk to talk. And if I need to make space, then the ladies will drop to make space. And you have been sitting here this whole time, and now all of a sudden, let me up when I'm about to wrap up. I'm going to tell you something that you probably hear a lot, but probably ignore. No.
Damn.
No means no, weirdo. No means no. His panel, his choice.
And you know what?
Jeremy, you
The
sure
best
you're not
thing.
somebody daddy? You sure you're not somebody daddy? Because that was somebody daddy shit to do.
Listen,
He got real
that's
close
actually where I'm
too,
headed
whisper in
right
your
now.
ear.
That's actually where I'm headed right now. It's like I do mentorship and stuff, so I'm actually about to go deal with somebody else's kids. So yeah, it kicks in because I'm dealing with everything. So yeah, it kicks in because I'm dealing with everything.
Jeremy, I don't know if you want to be, but one day you're going to be a very good father.
Malcolm, you look like a lizard. You look like a damn. You look like a infomercial. You look like a mascot. You look like
My
an
son.
otter.
Stop, you guys. He's trying his hardest. He just doesn't have any fucking friends. He's a loser. Stop, you guys.
Look, hey,
Bad
I'm about to
boys.
do
We
the
the
Malcolm,
same
bad
you look
thing.
like
boys.
Malcolm.
I
You
got
look
I'm
like
one
about
you
to
right
got
here
big
do.
for
ass
you. I'm gonna
boogers.
right now.
You look like
I'm
you.
about to do the same thing you're about to do, though, Jeremy. Only with my own kid.
Malcolm, you look like you
My
got strong
son.
ass snot. You look like you blow flour out your nose.
Listen,
You got
from
a
now
tornado.
on, like I'm gonna just do that. Like Professor, Pinky, Yellow,
Your
I need
nose
y'all
is
to
the
come
meaning of
back
hard
as
drugs.
one. As a collective, I'm gonna send y'all the invite next time because I need y'all
Hey,
to be back.
look, man. When somebody is roasting you, you don't come back with "How would you know I got bit?" Because, hey, bro, all right, look, just stop,
I just want to
stop,
know.
bro.
I just want to know
Your
why he took
nostril
the.
look like two AirPods.
I just want to know why he took the picture from that angle though. Like he shone the light like he had a flashlight on the other side, not even a camera light, like a flashlight on one side, and took the picture from the bottom of his chin. Why, sir? Why?
Girl took that picture in somebody's car. That's why.
Oh God,
He
from
look
his
like
lap.
ET little cousin.
Yeah.
XR.
It's a under
He
the
was probably getting
it's
yelled at in his mama's car. That's why he took that
the
picture. His
under
mom
the
was making him
nose
mad.
shot for me. It's the under the
This you?
nose shot for me.
E.T. throwing
That's him
Yeah,
right
hands.
like
there. Oh shit, he came out. Oh no, that's Jeremy. Wait a minute.
he was on the couch.
That's terrible.
He wants to be
Malcolm,
seen so bad. He likes.
Oh,
you look like the little stick figures kids draw when they draw people. You look like boy,
Don't
you
give
look
him
like
that
a
much
pea in
credit.
a
Ew.
pod.
Why are you giving him so much credit? My
Oh my
shit look better
god.
than that.
Oh my god.
You look like a brown crayon.
Y'all done got me started. Mm-mm-mm. See what you did? And we're supposed to be Jeremy, wrap this shit up. When I tell you,
Oh damn, I'm sorry for your loss, my G. My condolences.
girl, you don't know if that shit is true. I want to see an obit over here talking ill about your mama, your goddess. Fuck out of here.
your mama just passed away, and you on TikTok?
Exactly. I want to see an obit.
Statistically, it was probably his daddy's doing. I'm just saying.
Oh
Statistically.
shit!
Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and play us out with this one right here.
They want to
This is
know
for
if
all
your
the
daddy did
panderers.
it or if he's
All the
already in jail.
panderers. All the panderers in the comment section, stand up.
Hey,
This our theme music for all the
not
panels.
Navi was singing in the corner. They cut the music on you while you were still singing. That happened to me in the club when I was young.
You know what though, and on the way out the door, Jeremy, I think this is good. But especially what you and Navi is doing with that. Once they start saying you a simp or you a panda, just be like, yeah, and they ain't got nothing else.
They never say anything after that. I say, absolutely. I love women. Women are the best things in the world. And they never say anything
I'm gonna
after
share
that.
something with y'all. I'm gonna share something with y'all real quick. So the whole simp thing, because I've been called a simp since like I first got on this app, right? But here's the punchline. I actually pulled out for anybody who watched Phineas and Ferb back in the day. Y'all know what SIMP actually means. There was a
What's it
whole
mean?
song about it. Squirrels in my pants. If y'all know about that song, that's a deep cut right there. I did a whole response video and dance for that song. And
Squirrels
you
in
know
my
what's
pants.
amazing me by doing this? I actually have an official title. I have an official title. So for those of y'all who don't know, my official title is I am General Simpius Maximus. A grown 40-something-year-old man got on this app and called me General Simpius Maximus with his whole chest.
I ain't gonna hold
Allegedly.
you. That is funny though.
Allegedly.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you.
That man sat in
General
the toilet and
Simpius
thought about that for 30
Maximus
minutes.
is iniquitous work. General Simpius Maximus is iniquitous work. I ain't gonna hold you. He ignorant. He too old for that shit.
Yo, you should
How
have
fast
changed
he
He
your
come
too
back with that gem?
I
you should have
actually
changed
like
your
it. You
profile
should
name
make
to that.
yeah. You
I'm
should
gonna
make
do
that in your
something real
bio.
quick. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jazz. I'm sorry. I gotta do something real quick before we wrap this up. Give me like half a second. Give me half a second. I'm gonna wrap this up. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Malcolm. Yeah. So what
Oh,
was
you let
so
him
important
up.
that you wanted to come up here and share with us?
I want to know. I want y'all to go in these comments and show.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, that
So
made me
thank y'all.
orgasm.
Make sure that y'all make sure
You
you
was
keep
not
can't sit
waiting.
at
expecting
the
that.
cool table. You can't
Keep
sit at the
watching.
table with us, bro, with the cool kid.
Listen,
Oh shit!
listen,
I was
listen.
waiting to be
Everybody,
annoyed as hell.
make sure you tip. Don't just leave. All right. Don't just leave. Tip your waitress. Tip your bartender. All right. Tip them on the way out the door. Make sure that you know. And make sure you come back because we're gonna have this conversation in the future. And Malcolm, conversation for my favorite.
I just wanted to say that I personally love Sims. That's all. Sims are the best.
Right?
They
I
make the
used to
best
watch it with my
partners. They
kids.
make the best daddies. They're just the best.
Yo, why is he frozen like that?
Simps ain't never single.
They're never
Big facts.
listen. I think Navi and Jeremy the only ones that are not married. They're never
Big facts.
listen. I think Navi and Jeremy the only ones that are not married already. The other ones they call Sim got a wife.
And they be baddies too.
Facts.
So be mad at
Because
that.
they like
It definitely
women.
gonna be.
Be mad at
Because
that.
they like
It definitely
women.
gonna be. And much love to y'all. I will see you again on the other side of TikTok and any street.